Chapter 2741. Chin Chu was speechless. Honey, if you talk like this, you won't have any friends. Mr. Chin said seriously. Hua Min chuckled at his cute side. How can you still laugh? Is it fun to slander your husband? Mr. Chin was depressed. No, I'm just kidding, it's not fun at all. Mr. Chin was still upset. Okay. We've been too tense these days. Hearing you say that, I feel much better. Since the kids are in Zhang Manlin's hands, they should be safe. Plus, I think, Hua Min paused deliberately. What do you think? Chin Chu didn't understand what his wife wanted to say. I think with Zhang Manlin's IQ, she'll be destroyed if she's with Pudding and Little Bean. Hua Min said optimistically. That's very possible. Chin Chu strongly agreed. The twins were small and weak, but ordinary adults' brains couldn't keep up with their active thinking. When the children come back this time, I have to take precautions. How? More bodyguards. Hua Min guessed Chin Chu's intention. No matter how many bodyguards we have, they'll have to rely on themselves if they're in danger. I'll have to hire a karate master for them. They'll have to train from a young age. That's a good idea, but won't it be too tiring? Hua Min cared about his daughters. It's okay as long as they don't get into trouble again. Yeah. You have to train with them too. Mr. Chin, what does that have to do with me? Hua Min looked innocent. I'll worry about you too. You're not good at fighting. But I have anesthetic needles. I'm a doctor. That won't work. Anesthetic needles won't work against people like Ian, Chin Chu said. Then karate is useless. Why don't you teach me how to use an AK-47? Hua Min talked nonsense with a straight face. That's a good idea, you. Hua Min was speechless at Mr. Chin's response. Mian, do you know who's the strongest solo fighter I've ever seen? Chin Chu suddenly asked. Are there any rewards for guessing correctly? Hua Min smiled sweetly. Yes. It must be my little Yen, Hua Min said. How smart. Chin Chu nodded. I got it right away. That girl comes and goes like a shadow. Even someone like Ian couldn't catch her even after years of trying. You can see how strong she is. Yeah. When I was doing my research in the U.S., I found a video of Lu Yen at West Point. She fought barehanded. She was so thin and weak, but she could fight 7 people at once. Those 7 people weren't ordinary people, they were all her classmates at West Point. 2 of them were even Muay Thai champions and karate champions. Wow, she's that strong. Hua Min always knew that Lu Yen was a legendary girl. Although she didn't know much about the world of assassins and mercenaries, she knew that Lu Yen must be very strong after hearing Chin Chu's words. Chin Chu rarely complimented others, but this sister-in-law of his was indeed very strong. Yeah, I have to say that your family has strong genes. To be exact, Professor Lu and Dr. Linya have strong genes. Dr. Linya. She's my mother. But Yen and Dad don't want to talk about her. I really want to see her, Hua Min said in a low voice. I did some research, Chin Chu said seriously. Oh. What did you find? Hua Min's eyes lit up. Chapter 2742. She wanted to know more about her mother from Chin Chu. Unfortunately, other than finding out that she mysteriously disappeared back then, we couldn't find anything else. Hearing Chin Chu's words, Hua Min was slightly disappointed. But I'm sure of one thing. What is it? Hua Min raised his head and looked into Chin Chu's deep eyes. Your father, Professor Lu, must have something that Ian really wants. That's why he's been trying so hard to kill Lu Yan and find you all these years. Yeah, I think so too. Huamin agreed with Qin Chu. Professor Lu is not only a highly skilled doctor, but he's also operated on many heads of state. I heard that the President of the United Nations once appointed him as his personal doctor, but he refused, Qin Chu said. Freedom is priceless. Huamin had only met his father a few times, but he knew what his father was thinking. Yes, the professor prefers freedom. But since it's related to medicine, I guess what Ian wants must be very powerful and can even threaten the whole human race. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so persistent in chasing after Lu Yan and the professor all these years. If I have the chance, I'll ask them. I wonder how Yan is doing. I miss her so much. Ever since Huamin found out that he had a sister, he missed her from time to time. Lu Yan, on the other hand, was elusive and rarely called Huamian. Meanwhile, outside an ice cave on Iceland, Lu Yan was wearing a white fur coat, looking like an elf from the Ice Kingdom. Xiao Fei stood beside her. He was also wearing a white mink fur coat and didn't say a word. Lu Yan stood there quietly, looking at the cave in front of her with a gloomy expression. You should go in and see her, Xiao Fei said. No, it's better this way. I don't want to disturb her sleep. Lu Yan's tone was unusually gentle. Do you and Uncle Lu come every year? My father used to come every year, but in the past 2 years, that pervert Ian has been chasing after him. My father was afraid that he would expose my mother's resting place, so he endured the pain and didn't come. So that's how it is. Sorry to trouble you, Uncle Lu. Yeah. Dad looks like an emotionless block of wood, but he loves me a lot. Otherwise, with Dad's current status, he could afford to have a harem of 3,000 women, Lu Yan said. Ahem, are you sure you're not slandering your parents? Xiao Fei was speechless. He's used to it. Fine, you win. But Yan, I'm really curious. Will Auntie wake up? Is he brain dead? Xiao Fei asked. He knew Lu Yan rarely talked about her mother, Dr. Linya. The professor also rarely mentioned it. This seemed to be a taboo topic for the father and daughter. Hearing his question, tears welled up in Lu Yan's eyes. She'll wake up. Yes, that's right. That's what Dad said. Did Auntie become like this because of her enemies? Xiao Fei was curious. No, she became like this herself. Lu Yan bit her lips. Oh. How did she? Xiao Fei was surprised. Okay, asshole Xiao, you've asked enough questions. If it weren't for the fact that you're a fugitive with me, I wouldn't waste my time talking to you. Remember to keep it a secret for me. If you leak it out, I'll kill you. Lu Yan tilted her head and smiled at Xiao Fei. So, Lu Yan, are you threatening me? Xiao Fei looked at Lu Yan with a smile. Chapter 2743. Yeah, I'm threatening you. What are you going to do? Bite me? Lu Yan said arrogantly. She thought Xiao Fei wouldn't do anything to her since he was such a cold person. But to her surprise, Xiao Fei bit Lu Yan's lips. To be exact, he nibbled on her lips. Psycho Xiao, what are you doing? You're really biting me. You. Woo. Lu Yan pushed Xiao Fei away and fell on top of him again. The glaciers in Iceland were covered in snow all year round. The two of them rolled around in the snow, creating quite a scene. 5 minutes later, damn it. I'm almost out of breath. Lu Yan pushed Xiao Fei away and gasped for air. Yan, let's go to Las Vegas, okay? Why? How many rounds do you want to play? No. We're going to register our marriage. What? Lu Yan was shocked again. She almost choked and passed out. You have a fever. What are you talking about? Lu Yan stuttered, obviously lacking in confidence. I don't have a fever. I'm serious. We'll be together forever. Why don't we register? Lu Yan was speechless and didn't know what to say. As for the wedding, we'll make up for it later. When we have the chance to go back to China, we can hold it together with Sis and the others. As far as I know, Sis and brother-in-law haven't held a wedding yet, right? My sister hasn't had a wedding either. So, do you want to marry me? You don't have anything. How can you propose to me like this? Lu Yan was exasperated and amused. Xiao Fei glanced at Lu Yan indifferently and said confidently, yeah. I don't have anything. I'm with you every day, eating your food, drinking your water, living in your house, and using your money. Would you marry a man who lives off you? Pfft. How dare you say that? Shame on you. Lu Yan burst into laughter. Cut the crap. Do you want to marry me or not? Xiao Fei asked directly. Humph. Do you want to fight with me? If you win, I'll marry you. If you lose, get the hell out of my way. Lu Yan said crudely. Boring. Xiao Fei got up from the ground in disdain. He shook the snow off his clothes and ignored Lu Yan. The two of them didn't mention the registration in Las Vegas either. Lu Yan had arranged for people to protect Huamin and the baby in China, but now the baby was missing. Lu Yan's subordinate reported to his master anxiously but couldn't reach Lu Yan. Every time she came to Iceland to visit her mother in the ice cave, Lu Yan didn't bring any communication devices with her. She was afraid that Ian would take advantage of the situation and fail to catch her or find her father. Therefore, she had been racking her brains to find her mother's body. In order to prevent her whereabouts from being leaked, Lu Yan had isolated herself from the world and didn't know that the baby was missing. In China, Suyu's private villa, Mom, I know. Don't worry about it. I believe the child will be back soon. After Suyu hung up the phone with his mother, he let out a long sigh and closed his eyes to rest. The past few days had been torturous for him. He couldn't even eat or drink properly. Just then, the doorbell rang. Thinking it was Tang Chuan, he went to open the door and cursed, "Can't you fucking let me have a good night's sleep?" But when he opened the door and saw the person in front of him, Suyu froze. Why are you here? Chapter 2744. President Su. Niao Lingxian was wearing an elegant dark gray dress and a black leather jacket. Her long hair was curled up slightly. She was the most popular actress in Imperial Star Entertainment. However, she was the most low-key one. No matter how popular she was, she never showed her impulsiveness. Come in. Don't just stand there. Suyu opened the door and let Niao Lingxian in. He asked half-jokingly, "You didn't ask the media to follow you, right?" Zhao Qingya and Jian Tong had both used this method to expose their intimate relationship with Suyu. But the truth was, Suyu hadn't even admitted it. This was a desperate method used by some women who were eager to climb up the social ladder. Ha! Niao Lingxian was stunned by Suyu's question. Obviously, she didn't do that. When Suyu asked her, she was startled. "It's okay. I'm just kidding," Suyu said casually. Niao Lingxian came in and put the fruit in her hand on the coffee table. "President Su, I heard about the twins. You like them very much and must be worried sick. I know you can't eat anything, so I didn't buy anything. When I passed by a fruit stall, I bought some fruit." "Thank you," Suyu said as he went to the fridge and took out a can of Coke for Lingxian. You haven't been out shooting recently? Suyu didn't go to the company and didn't pay much attention to the artist's schedules. I just finished one. I'm taking a break. Oh. Good. Suyu nodded and took out his cell phone to check the WeChat group. They were talking about the kids. Jiang Xiaowei said that Wei Yunchu was depressed and that his son would be lovesick if he couldn't find pudding. Zhu Lingling said that Gao Ran blamed his father's incompetence for not finding pudding. He didn't even let his father come home for dinner. Gao Ran wanted to cry but had no tears. After reading it, Suyu sent a laughing emoji. President Su, have you had dinner? Lingxian looked at Suyu's face and asked carefully. No, I'm not hungry. Suyu answered neatly. Do you have any ingredients at home? I'll make you something to eat. Don't bother. I'm hungry. I can order takeout anytime. It's not good to eat too much takeout. Let me do it. I have nothing to do anyway. Then Lingxian stood up and walked to the fridge. She opened the fridge and found it empty. Finally, she found a packet of instant noodles, a piece of bacon, and ham. Then she quietly walked into the kitchen. In front of Suyu, Lingxian didn't have much of a presence. Suyu was still playing with his phone, almost forgetting her existence. It wasn't until a plate of noodles was served that Suyu smelled the fragrance and came back to his senses. What is this? Stir-fried instant noodles. You can stir-fry instant noodles. Suyu's face was filled with disbelief. A long time ago, when Tang Chuan came over, he was hungry in the middle of the night and asked the supermarket downstairs to deliver instant noodles to him. Chapter 27:45. Almost there, almost there. Although Zhang Manlin said that, she had been thinking about how to hide the twins. She didn't know that she would be captured by Hua Xiqian as soon as she arrived at Qinghe town. She was still thinking about what to do. She had made a deal with the twins and thought that she would be able to go to Qin Chu soon. She had helped Qin Chu save the kids and was supposed to be a great hero. But now, she was a wanted criminal. That way, Zhang Manlin wouldn't be able to send the twins back safely. However, the twins didn't know about it yet. Seeing that Qinghe town was not far away, Zhang Manlin slowed down the car. What's going on? What are you up to now? Little Bean didn't believe Zhang Manlin at all. She didn't think that a woman who had been tortured by her would be so kind as to send them back. The car doesn't have much gas left. We need to find a gas station. I saw one on the map just now, so we have to slow down. Zhang Manlin found an excuse. You. Little Bean wanted to say something but was stopped by Pudding. Pudding shook her head at her, indicating that she shouldn't say too much. Seeing her sister's reaction, Little Bean swallowed her words back. But she was still very unhappy with Zhang Manlin. Just as Zhang Manlin was about to turn into the other side of the road to get gas, a big truck suddenly appeared in the middle of the road in front of her. Fuck. What's the meaning of this? Zhang Manlin cursed. She frowned and wanted to get out of the car to check it out. Just then, she saw 3 men walk out from behind the truck. Each of them had a long machete in their hands. Zhang Manlin, you bitch. You got people to set us up, Little Bean cursed at Zhang Manlin. She thought that Zhang Manlin had teamed up with others to set this up. It wasn't me. I don't know what's going on. Zhang Manlin was confused. Sit tight. They might be robbers. I'll reverse first. Seeing that there was no way out, Zhang Manlin decided to reverse and run. Don't. Look behind you, Pudding reminded him calmly. Zhang Manlin turned around and saw that there were 2 black cars behind her. Both of them were from bad brands. However, there was a car blocking her way, so she couldn't go over. What should we do? What should we do? We're dead meat. Zhang Manlin was so scared that her face turned pale. She couldn't even control her limbs. What's there to think about? Run into them. Even if we have to kill them, we have to run into them. Otherwise, we're all done for. Little Bean shouted. No, we can't get through. Look at the road on both sides. There are rows of nails. The tires will burst. Pudding carefully looked in the rearview mirror. Looks like they came prepared. Little Bean nodded and stopped thinking about running. Bitch, get out of the car, the man in the front shouted. This was a group of ferocious-looking guys. Including the leader, there were a total of 6 people, all of whom were burly men from the mountains. Not only were the twins scared, even Zhang Manlin was about to pee her pants. Who are you? Did Big Brother Qian send you? Zhang Manlin naively thought that they were Hua Xiqian's men. Chapter 2746. What Big Brother Qian? What nonsense are you talking about? I'm your Big Brother Hai. The man opened the car door and dragged Zhang Manlin out of the car. Aw. Zhang Manlin fell to the ground, her face pale with fear. Search. This is a Mercedes-Benz. She must be rich. Search it carefully. Don't miss a single cent, the leader, Big Brother Hai, ordered, and the lackeys behind him immediately opened the car door. However, they were shocked by the twins in the back seat. Big Brother, we found something. What did you find? There are 2 children here. The lackeys looked at the twins in confusion. The man called Big Brother Hai walked over and opened the car door. The twins were looking at them with their big, cute eyes. The 2 children weren't as flustered as usual. They weren't scared to the point of crying. They looked out of the car window calmly. Pudding and Little Bean stared into the eyes of the criminals. These 2 children are so cute. Is that your mother? Pointing at Zhang Manlin, Big Brother Hai asked the twins. She's your mother, Little Bean immediately retorted. God knew how much she hated Zhang Manlin. How could such a flirtatious bitch be compared to her mother, Hua Min? Big Brother, she's insulting you. The lackeys reacted and immediately reminded Big Brother Hai. Pudding thought that the man would be angry after Little Bean insulted him. Unexpectedly, the man laughed out loud. This child has the aura of a bandit. I like her. She's like my daughter. Okay, stop talking nonsense. Take them all away. Big Brother, this car is very valuable. It's worth more than 500,000 yuan. Let's take it too. The lackeys looked at the black Mercedes-Benz with shining eyes. Are you fucking stupid? How many times have I told you, the more luxurious the car is, the more you can't take it away. This thing is very advanced. It's full of high-tech and has GPS. Do you want to get us killed? Yes, Big Brother is right. You guys, hurry up and take away all the valuables. Then, take the women and children with you. Just like that, Zhang Manlin and the twins were taken away by the criminals who came out of nowhere. The Mercedes-Benz was left on a mountain road not far from Qinghe town. Hua Xiqian's men waited for a long time, but they still didn't see the Mercedes-Benz. In the end, Qing ordered them to expand their search area. Inside the Hua mansion, Hua Xiqian was sitting in the living room, drinking tea with a leisurely expression. Boss, bad news. Speak. Zhang Manlin is gone, and so are the 2 kids. What do you mean? Hua Xiqian put down his teacup and slowly raised his head. Didn't you tell us to wait for Zhang Manlin in Qinghe town? Once Zhang Manlin arrived, we were to tie her up. but she didn't enter Qinghe town. I sent people to look for her, but all we found was the car. She and the kids were gone, Qing said. Gone. Hua Xiqian raised his eyebrows slightly. Boss, do you think Zhang Manlin knew that we were going to deal with her, so she ran away? Or did she really betray us and want to hand them over to Qin Chu? No, Zhang Manlin wouldn't have the guts to do that. She's a wanted criminal now, and it's impossible for her to hand them over to Qin Chu. She'll die anyway. Then why is she gone? Search the town and the surrounding villages carefully. I think she might be hiding, Hua Xiqian said. Yes, we'll search immediately. Deep in the mountains, in the bandits' lair, sis, look, this place. Little Bean raised her finger and pointed outside the car window. When Pudding looked over, she was also slightly shocked. Chapter 27:47. Hearing Little Bean's words, Pudding immediately looked up. There was such a magical place in the depths of the mountain. This was the kind of bandit den that was often shown in TV shows. The architecture was not simple at all. It even had a Chinese style. Sis, this is a bandit den. Little Bean exclaimed. What else? Do you think it's Disney? Pudding said. Little Bean no longer knew fear. Instead, her eyes were attracted by the architecture. In the depths of the mountain, there was a small wooden second floor. It was exquisite and elegant, clean inside and out. People who didn't know would think it was a tourist attraction. The funny thing was that there were two small wooden turrets at the entrance. Big brother, you're just robbing. Let us go. You took what you wanted. I still have some money. Here, it's all yours. Then, Zhang Manlin took out the tens of thousands of yuan in cash she had with her. She wanted to go back to her hometown to show off, but she ran into this. Big brother, look, this girl is rich. She has tens of thousands of yuan with her. We're rich. The subordinate took the cash and immediately handed it to the leader with a fawning smile. The man named Big Brother Hai took the money and weighed it in his hand. He smiled and said, I've been dreaming about a big red coffin these days. I knew it. We're really going to get a big job. Of course, Big Brother. Coffin. Promotion and wealth. I told you it was a good thing. The subordinate was also busy sucking up. Doesn't coffin mean we're going to die? Why is it wealth? Little Bean said innocently. Her words made the kidnappers' faces darken. Little kid, what do you know? Hey, don't lower yourself to the kid's level. She's just a kid. The man named Big Brother Hai was in a good mood and forgave Little Bean's unintentional words. Little Bean, don't talk. We'll play it by ear. Sis, are we going to die here? Little Bean asked worriedly. No, I have a feeling that if we don't run into them, Zhang Manlin won't be able to safely send us to Daddy. So, since it's already like this, we can rest assured. Pudding lowered her voice and kept telling her sister what to do. You two are so noisy, stop mumbling. The kidnapper snorted impatiently. Big brother, I'm really not a rich girl. My car was borrowed. Please let me go. Zhang Manlin's heart sank when she saw the kidnappers. Who are you trying to fool? If you're not rich, why do you drive a Mercedes-Benz and bring so much cash? No, I'm really not rich. I work for someone else. My boss is Hua Xiqian. He's very famous in Sea City. In order to protect herself, Zhang Manlin immediately brought up Hua Xiqian in an attempt to suppress the kidnappers. Hua Xiqian. The man called Big Brother Hai looked at Zhang Manlin in confusion. Yes. He's the boss of the Hua Corporation. He's the boss. I'm just an errand girl. Chapter 2748. A merciless slap landed on Zhang Manlin's face. Zhang Manlin was dizzy from the impact. She didn't dare to say anything else. Just like that, the twins and Zhang Manlin were kidnapped by a group of mountain bandits and taken deep into the mountains. On the other hand, Sea City was in chaos looking for the kids. "Honey, is there any news?" Huamin asked anxiously. "Yes, there is." "Where are the kids?" Huamin cried tears of joy. "We've tracked down Shinjiani and He Yongjun's location. They're in the mountains near Tao Yuan village. I'll take a helicopter there tonight with Gao Ran and some special forces to hunt them down." "But the kids aren't with them." Huamin froze. "Yes, but they have to pay the price." "What about the kids? Where are our daughters?" "According to the people in Tao Yuan village, there's a man who claims to be Zhang Manlin's cousin. He said that Zhang Manlin walked along the mountain path. There are very few villages in the mountains, and even fewer towns. According to the number of days and kilometers, Zhang Manlin should arrive at Qinghe town soon. We've already contacted the police there to set up obstacles to stop her. Reinforcements are also on their way. Zhang Manlin is different from He Yongjun and the others. She doesn't have a weapon. So, we'll see Pudding and Little Bean in Qinghe town soon." Huamian was overjoyed. "If I'm not mistaken, yes." Qin Chu nodded. "Honey, I called Jixin. You go home and rest. I'll go hunt down He Yongjun and Shinjiani. Once I'm done, I'll go to Qinghe town to pick them up." "No, I want to go with you." "No, it's too far away. It's too bumpy," Qin Chu refused. "No, if you don't let me go with you, then I'll go to Qinghe town and wait for them." Huamin was stubborn. In the end, Qin Chu had no choice. He was worried about Huamin going to Qinghe town alone, so he took her to the helicopter and rushed to the mountainous area of Peach Blossom Village. "Huamin, you're going too?" Gao Ran was surprised to see Huamin. "Yes." Will it work?" "As far as I know, He Yongjun is not a kind person. He has guns and explosives in his hands. He is an extremely vicious person. It will be dangerous for us. Is it appropriate for you to come with us?" Gao Ran was also thinking about Huamin's safety. "Perfect," Huamian replied with 2 words. Gao Ran was speechless. "It's fine. Let her come along. I can take care of her at any time." In order to take care of Huamin's feelings, Qin Chu didn't have the heart to refuse. He took Huamin with him to the helicopter. On the TV, the female anchor reported, according to the latest news, the municipal bureau has sent out a helicopter to catch the kidnappers. They are said to be escaping into the mountains of Peach Blossom Village. This time, the municipal bureau chief, Gao Ran, is personally guiding them. The parents of the children are also involved. We are looking forward to the news of their children's safe return. Seeing this, Hui Yanyan smashed the remote control on the TV. "Mommy, what's wrong?" Tian Tian was scared out of her wits. "Tian Tian, I told you not to tell anyone about Grandma. How could you not remember?" Hui Yanyan vented her anger on her daughter. "But Uncle Shen is not just anyone. He is a person like Daddy," Tian Tian replied in a weak voice. "Did you see that? You are not as humane as a child." Shen Mingxi opened the door and walked in. He heard the conversation between the mother and daughter. Chapter 2749. Shen Mingxi, what do you mean? You lied to my daughter and you think you're in the right. Hui Yanyan was also furious. "I didn't lie to her. Tian Tian was telling the truth. I'm telling you, if anything happens to my mom, I won't forgive you." Hui Yan Yan, you have to understand that you're living in my house, eating my food, wearing my clothes, and using my money. So what? Do you think I'll sleep with you for free? Prostitutes have to pay. Even if I charge 500 yuan per session, I'm worth the price. Hui Yan Yan was eloquent. Shen Mingxi glanced at her in disappointment. Hui Yan Yan, you disappoint me. Then, he turned to leave. He had fallen in love with Hui Yan Yan because she didn't fight back when Wei Ying bullied her. What was the difference between her forbearance and kindness when she was a crazy woman and Wei Ying when she was young? Shen Mingxi, stop right there. Hui Yan Yan rushed up and blocked Shen Mingxi's way. Get out of my way. I'm not in the mood to argue with you. Shen Mingxi glanced at her in disgust. If I get out of your way, you can go find another woman, right? Hui Yan Yan's attitude was firm. Hui Yan Yan, I didn't know you had such a despicable side. Ha, it's not too late. Ha, it's not too late for you to find out. I know you all like women like Hu Mian. I'm born to be cheap and deserve to die. She does all the good things and does all the good things while I'm in the wrong. You don't know how cruel Hu Mian is. I knelt down but she still wouldn't let my mother go. Hui Yan Yan said as tears rolled down her cheeks. Furious, Shen Mingxi grabbed Hui Yan Yan by the collar and scolded, Hui Yan Yan, are you kidding me? Your mother kidnapped someone else's child. If your child was kidnapped, wouldn't you be worried? I realize that you can't tell right from wrong. If your mother were to commit murder and arson, would you follow her? You said she's nice too. Shen Mingxi realized that Hui Yan Yan and Hui Si were basically the same. He wondered what kind of education Shen Jiani received. He was already an adult, yet he still had no sense of right and wrong. He stubbornly believed that he was right. What kind of logic was this to think that it was the other person's fault for not forgiving her? Who doesn't make mistakes their whole life? My mom was just confused for a moment. Hui Yan Yan was still trying to defend herself. Your mom wasn't confused for a moment. It was premeditated and vicious. Hui Yan Yan, if you continue to be confused, you and your mom will end up the same way. Hua Min and Qin Chu are already at Tao Yuan village. Your mom and that man are dead for sure. You better pray for yourself. Then, Shen Mingxi violently pushed Hui Yan Yan to the ground. Then, he opened the door and left. Mommy, please don't fight with Uncle Shen. Tian Tian is scared. The child was so scared that she kept crying. Hui Yan Yan sat on the ground and cried like a madwoman. She only thought that her mother was her last family in this world. Therefore, she ignored the fact that she had broken the law. She also didn't realize that she and her child had been used by Xinjiani and He Yongjun. Su Yu's private mansion. After Su Yu finished his noodles, he saw that it was getting late. Just as he was about to walk Niao Lingxian out, he bumped into Tang Chuan and Qin Ning. Wow, what's going on? What are you two doing? Tang Chuan smiled evilly. It's obviously fake. I don't like plastic surgery. I prefer Lu area from Wang village. She's pretty. The man called Big Brother Hai was obviously not very satisfied with Zhang Manlin. Big Brother, if you say so, then we won't hold back. We'll take turns. Hee hee. Wow, are they going to take turns with Zhang Manlin? Little Bean asked her sister secretly with her eyes wide open. I think so. Pudding nodded. That's good news. This woman deserves it. Little Bean snickered. Big brothers, please, don't. Zhang Manlin was scared out of her wits. She was still fantasizing about using her virginity to seduce Qin Chu. She didn't want to be tainted by these hillbillies. Chapter 2751. Help! Someone help me! Zhang Manlin screamed at the top of her lungs. Little girl, in the depths of this mountain, even if you shout until your throat breaks, no one will come to save you. Ha! Even the people from the Public Security Bureau will get lost when they come in. The man called Brother Hai was obviously very confident in his nest. Big brother, I've given you my money. Please don't violate me. Zhang Manlin pretended to be pitiful. No way, we haven't gone down the mountain in a long time and we haven't tasted a woman in a long time. Today, we'll start with you. Then, one of the men reached out and took off Zhang Manlin's jacket. She stepped back desperately and pointed at the two children not far away. They're girls too. Go find them. Fuck, is Zhang Manlin crazy? Little Bean was furious. She's shameless to the extreme. How dare she have designs on us? Pudding was also very angry. Are you crazy? Those two children are only 3 or 4 years old. How can we do that? We're not perverts. We're not pedophiles. Sigh, you're a vicious woman. One of the men looked at Zhang Manlin with disdain, thinking that she was a bad person. I had a way to save her, but I wouldn't save her even if I were beaten to death, Pudding said in a low voice. Sis, are you kidding? We can't even save ourselves. How can you save her? But I'm curious, how are you going to save her? This is a tiger's den. We don't have any martial arts skills. Ha, I regret not learning martial arts from Uncle An. Otherwise, we would have kicked them away. Little Bean sighed. Pudding leaned close to Little Bean's ear and whispered, actually, I just need to say that Zhang Manlin has AIDS. Pfft. What kind of bullshit idea is that? These men aren't stupid. Do you think they'll believe you just because you say so? Little Bean didn't think it was a good idea. She might be seen through with a single glance. I have a way to make them believe it. What way? Little Bean looked at her genius sister curiously. The urine of a patient with HIV will be positive even if she's not pregnant. When the time comes, I'll go with Zhang Manlin to the urine test so that they can see it. But Zhang Manlin isn't pregnant, and she doesn't have AIDS. How can her urine be positive? Is she taking drugs? Little Bean knew that the urine of drug users was positive. I don't know if she takes drugs or not, but I have a positive pregnancy test kit with me. I can take it out directly. Fuck, where did you get that thing? Little Bean was even more shocked. I stole it from Mommy. Why does Mommy have that thing? Could it be? Little Bean finally realized what was going on. She looked at the pudding with her big eyes. Pudding nodded and said mysteriously, Mommy is pregnant with a second child, but I don't know the gender. Oh my God. Really? Little Bean was still in shock. Keep your voice down, Pudding reminded him. Why didn't anyone tell me? It's such a big deal. You guys don't even treat me as a family member. Little Bean looked aggrieved. How could she not know about Mommy's pregnancy? Even Daddy didn't know. How would you know? Pudding said proudly. Little Bean was even more shocked now. She looked at her sister with her mouth wide open. Chapter 2752. Chin Mumu, you can stuff a goose egg in your mouth right now. No, I'm just too surprised. You know things that Daddy doesn't know. You're amazing, sis. Little Bean looked at Pudding with admiration. I saw it by accident. Mommy was having morning sickness. She said her stomach was uncomfortable but she wouldn't take any medicine. I knew something was wrong. Then why did you hide Mommy's pregnancy test kit? It's going to be a death exemption card. Little Bean looked at her sister with amusement. No, I wanted to find a chance to tell Daddy secretly. This is the evidence. Fuck, you're betraying Mommy. It's not a betrayal. Mommy and Daddy are a couple, Pudding quibbled. Okay, you win. Qin Zhao Zhao, you're the best. No wonder you're the older sister. Ha, you were born a few minutes earlier than me. You're a lot more awesome. Little Bean worshipped her sister so much that she couldn't stop worshipping her. The two sisters chatted happily. On the other side, Zhang Manlin's clothes were almost stripped off. No matter how much she begged and cried, those people had no intention of letting her go. The man called Big Brother Hai didn't seem to want his subordinates to stop either. Wait, I have important information to exchange with you. Zhang Manlin suddenly had an epiphany and yelled loudly. You crazy woman, what do you want to do now? Big Brother Hai, I have important information to tell you. It's an opportunity for you to make a fortune, Zhang Manlin said directly to the boss. Oh. What important information? What opportunity for you to make a fortune? Tell me. The man called Big Brother Hai played with two walnuts in his hands and looked up at Zhang Manlin. I promise you that I'll give you more money than you can spend in your lifetime. But you have to promise me that you won't let your subordinates violate me, or else. I'll never tell you. Zhang Manlin made a condition at this moment. Hey, bitch, how dare you make conditions with our boss? One of the subordinates grabbed Zhang Manlin's hair and was about to hit her. Stop, Big Brother Hai suddenly shouted. Let her continue. Big Brother Hai seemed to be very interested in Zhang Manlin's opportunity to make a fortune. Let me tell you, you still dare to lie to us. After we're done with you, we'll throw you to the back of the mountain. There are wolves there. When the time comes, we'll leave your corpse in the wilderness. A few of his subordinates threatened Zhang Manlin. Don't worry, I don't want to die yet. I wouldn't dare to lie to Big Brother Hai, Zhang Manlin said calmly. Sis, what do you think this woman is going to say? Little Bean asked curiously. I don't think it's anything good. This woman. Most of her ideas are vicious. We have to be careful. Pudding looked at Zhang Manlin cautiously. Interesting. Hee, a little interesting. Hai Ji put the walnuts in his hand on the table and stood up with a smile. Chapter 2753. The two of them. How can two little girls make me rich? Woman, are you trying to trick me? Do you think I'm an uneducated peasant? Big Brother Hai was very displeased. No, Big Brother Hai, listen to me. Do you know who their parents are? Zhang Manlin grabbed Big Brother Hai's hand anxiously. How the fuck would I know? Woman, don't waste my time. Just tell me. Big Brother Hai seemed to have lost his patience. After all, he was a mountain man and didn't understand word games. Big Brother Hai, the two children's father, is a very famous entrepreneur in our country. His name is Qin Chu, the president of GK Corporation. He's worth tens of billions. Their mother is Huamin, the director of Southside Recuperation Center, the most famous hospital in Sea City. The mansion they live in is a castle worth more than 400 million yuan. The children's grandfather is also an entrepreneur. The children's aunt, second grandpa, and so on. Yes, the children's godfather is Su Yu. You must have heard of this name before. He's the famous heir of the Su family in Sea City, the boss behind Imperial Star Corporation. More than half of the popular female stars were groomed by him. He has more than a dozen sports cars. Is it true? Big Brother Hai obviously didn't believe Zhang Manlin's words. It's true. If I lie to you, I'll die a horrible death. Zhang Manlin swore to win Big Brother Hai's trust. Fuck. Don't talk nonsense. Who said handsome Sue is our godfather? You damn woman, you only know how to spread rumors. Little Bean couldn't help but curse at Zhang Manlin. Exposing her and her sister's identities was one thing. She didn't expect her to be noble. But saying that handsome Sue was their godfather was a bit too much. The twins often went on Weibo and naturally knew that the word godfather wasn't a good word. So, they didn't want to hear Zhang Manlin's nonsense. Big brother hi, trust me. If you tie them up right now and call their father, you'll have 1 billion yuan. I guarantee you won't be able to spend it all in your lifetime. You won't have to hide in this poor valley anymore. Zhang Manlin egged on the man named Big Brother Hai. Actually, she was also trying to divert attention so that his subordinates would not touch her. Zhang Manlin, you're really something. You sold us out just to protect yourself. But that's good, I didn't have to think about how to save you. You're the one who killed yourself. Pudding stared at Zhang Manlin's face, not surprised at all. From the moment she started driving slowly, Pudding suspected that she didn't really want to take them home. Therefore, who knew what other dangers there would be in Qinghe town? Things were fine now. The kidnappers suddenly appeared out of nowhere, but as long as they weren't Zhang Manlin or Hua Xiqian's people, things weren't that bad. Kid, I don't need you to save me. Ha, save it. Zhang Manlin sneered at Pudding. Chapter 2754. Don't worry, we're tired. Go and cook. We'll have a drink first and then figure out a plan. Yes, boss. The thugs were very happy. Lock the 2 kids in the warehouse. Wait, Pudding suddenly shouted. The adults turned around and looked at Pudding. You're all big men. Do you have to do this? We're only 3 years old. Do you think we can run away? Why don't you lock the woman up? If she accidentally runs away, you'll be in trouble. She'll go down the mountain and call the police. After Pudding finished speaking, the men immediately looked at Zhang Manlin warily. Zhang Manlin was so scared that she quickly waved her hands. Guys, don't listen to this little brat. I won't say anything. I've already told you such important information. I'm on your side now. I won't call the police or run away. After you get the ransom, just let me go. I don't want a penny. No, I'll have to lock you up first. You guys, go and lock them up. The 2 little ones in the warehouse. As for the woman, lock her up in the basement. Pudding's words made sense. Big Brother Hai was afraid that Zhang Manlin would cause trouble, so he really locked her up in the basement, where it was even harder to escape. Little brat. Zhang Manlin cursed evilly as she walked past Pudding. Bitch. Pudding, who had always been polite and didn't like to curse, retorted for the first time. She also cursed Zhang Manlin. Just like that, the twins were locked up in the warehouse. Zhang Manlin was locked up in the basement. The thugs ate and drank as if they were celebrating the capture of the god of fortune. On the other side, near Taoyuan village, the helicopter landed on the flat ground at the foot of the mountain. The armed police were all on standby. There were 40 to 50 people. Gao Ran, in his police uniform, got off the plane. When he got off the helicopter, the leader of the armed police walked over and saluted Gao Ran. Hello, Chief Gao. I'm Zhang Bin, the platoon leader of this mission. We received orders from our superiors to help you chase the thugs. Yes, thank you for your hard work, platoon leader Zhang. Gao Ran nodded. It's nothing. It's my duty to serve the people. What's the situation in the mountains now? Can you find the exact location of He Yongjun and Wang Yao? Gao Ran asked as he took the binoculars from Zhang Bin. It's very difficult. That criminal is obviously very skilled, and his anti-reconnaissance ability is particularly strong. The place he's hiding in is steep, easy to defend and difficult to attack. We're thinking of a way. Yes, if necessary, you can kill him on the spot. Gao Ran directly told him the truth. Understood. Afterward, platoon leader Zhang went to deploy the mission. Gao Ran turned around and said to Qin Chu and Huamin, "This is a reinforced platoon. There are more than 50 of them. They are soldiers stationed nearby. Although their firepower is not particularly strong, it is more than enough to deal with He Yongjun and Shinjiani. You guys don't have to worry." Okay. Qin Chu nodded. Then, he looked at his watch and realized that a few hours had passed. He didn't say anything. Instead, he took out a few egg yolk pies from his backpack and handed them to Huamin. "Mian, eat some first. Fill your stomach, or else you'll feel uncomfortable." Qin Chu looked at Huamin gently. "Honey, if you're not hungry, eat less. Treat it as a snack. Good girl, listen to me. I'll call Su Yu and ask about the situation in Qinghe town." After speaking, Qin Chu touched Huamin's face lovingly. Then, he turned around and picked up his phone to call Su Yu. Chapter 2755. Hello. Su Yu, are you guys in Qinghe town yet? Huamin leaned against the police car and forced herself to eat the egg yolk pie that Mr. Qin brought for her. She reached out and touched her belly. She was so depressed recently. How was the baby in her belly? Had it grown a little? After a while, Qin Chu hung up the phone and walked back. "Honey, did you get the baby?" Huamin immediately asked. "Not yet, Zhang Manlin hasn't arrived in Qinghe town yet." "How could this be? Did something go wrong?" Huamin's expression was terrible. "No, don't worry, Mian. Qinghe town is Zhang Manlin's only way. She has no other way out and will definitely pass by Qinghe town. Qinghe town is guarded by Su Yu, Tang Chuan, and Ning Ning. There are also many police officers guarding the town. Even a fly would have a hard time flying in, let alone a living person." Qin Chu comforted Huamin. "I hope the babies are okay." As she spoke, Huamin leaned on Qin Chu's shoulder and began crying again. Perhaps it was because pregnant women tended to be emotional. Huamin was physically and mentally exhausted and looked very fragile. Even Gao Ran couldn't stand it anymore. "Huamin, go rest in the car. There's hot water inside and it's too cold outside." "There's nothing you can do outside." Before Huamin could speak, a loud noise came from the mountains. "What's that sound?" Gao Ran turned his head and his expression changed drastically. Then, he saw a few police officers run out in panic. "Platoon leader, the criminal had explosives on him. Our people were injured, contact the hospital immediately." Platoon leader Zhang Bin was also very anxious. "I told you that they had explosives on them. Why didn't you be more careful?" Gao Ran felt bad when he heard that someone was injured. "Chief Gao, we've been very careful, but that criminal is too cunning. He didn't throw the explosives out directly, but buried them. We couldn't see them at all." A young armed police officer replied, feeling wronged. "Fuck, you want to play mind warfare with me?" Gao Ran was furious. "Chief Gao, what should we do now? Should we find a demoning expert?" Platoon leader Zhang Bin was also at a loss. They are just the armed police force. Their usual anti-terrorism measures are just for show. They have never experienced anything like this before. So, he asked for Gao Ran's opinion. "If you want a demoning expert, you'll have to transfer him from the province." "It's too late, too late. He Yongjun will run away." Gao Ran gritted his teeth and said. He had read He Yongjun's information. He was a very cunning person who was good at smuggling. He could come and go as he pleased in a place like Vietnam where dragons and snakes mingled. Therefore, they couldn't let their guard down. I know how to demean. Let me do it. Chin Chu took off his black casual jacket and put it in his hand. Then, he walked out from behind Gao Ran. You. Gao Ran didn't expect Chin Chu to step up at this time. However, he knew that Mr. Chin was never one to brag. If he said he knew how to demean, then he definitely knew how to do it. I'm going to demean. You guys follow behind me, that way, it'll be fine. Chin Chu looked at platoon leader Zhang Bin and said. No, I don't agree. Hua Min threw the egg yolk pie in his hand onto the ground. He jogged over and grabbed Chin Chu's hand. Hua Min. Chin Chu's tone was gentle. He wanted to coax Hua Min. I said no, I can't let you take the risk. He Yongjun doesn't play by the rules. We can't take the risk. Hua Min's attitude was firm. Then what do we do now? Platoon leader Zhang was also at a loss. Chapter 2756. Hua Min, Chin Chu tried to convince Hua Min. However, Hua Min interrupted him. I have an idea. What idea? Gao Ran came over curiously. He knew that Hua Min had always been smart. Doesn't He Yongjun like to play with landmines? Then we can give him a taste of his own medicine, Hua Min said. Platoon leader Zhang was confused, and so was Gao Ran. Even Chin Chu immediately understood Hua Min's intention. Mian, you want to use explosives? Yes. Hua Min nodded. But we didn't bring any explosives. Plus, we're not allowed to bring explosives when we're on a mission. If we go back to the army to apply, it'll take a long time to get approval from the higher-ups. It'll still be a waste of time. Platoon leader Zhang didn't think Hua Min's idea was good. No need, I can make it on the spot, Hua Min said calmly. What? Platoon leader Zhang's mouth opened wide. I said, I can make explosives on the spot for you to use, Hua Min repeated. Oh my god, your wife is going to heaven. Gao Ran glanced at Chin Chu. Chin Chu, on the other hand, had a proud look on his face. He put his arm around Hua Min's shoulder and said, my wife is a genius. Yes, if you want to say that, no one will argue with you. Gao Ran nodded in agreement. Is this reliable? Platoon leader Zhang didn't know Hua Min. He only knew that she was the mother of the kidnapped child and was also Director Gao's friend. How could a woman who looked so weak do such a dangerous thing? Don't doubt her, she's the director of the hospital and a genius of the medical school. Gao Ran felt that even if Hua Min said that he could make an atomic bomb, he would not be surprised. This was because Hua Min and Chin Chu were the same. They were both people who didn't know how to brag. They never dared to say anything that wasn't reliable. Since I've said it, I'll definitely do it. This is something that ordinary women can't compare to. Even Jiang Shaowei gave him a thumbs up, but the area in the mountain is very big, the explosives I have won't be enough. Platoon leader Zhang looked at the terrain analysis in the depths of the mountain. It's okay. I'll make as many explosives as you want. Hua Min said confidently. This time, it was platoon leader Zhang's turn to be speechless. Mian, you're going to use gasoline and beer, right? Chin Chu was also a medical student, so he knew what his wife was thinking. Yes. Hua Min nodded. I had the same idea as you, but gasoline and beer bottles are limited in power. I'm afraid, it won't be enough to intimidate He Yongjun. Chin Chu also had his own doubts. Therefore, he thought that it would be better to just clear the mines. After all, based on their current analysis, Hee Yongjun wouldn't have a lot of explosives on him. However, Hwa-min didn't want Chin Chu to take the risk. She would rather start making large quantities of explosives. Just as Chin Chu said, she used a lot of gasoline from the car. Gasoline was a flammable and explosive liquid. Then, she put it in a glass bottle and it became a very simple explosive. She lit it with a lighter and it went up into the air with a bang. Hwa-min and Chin Chu led a group of armed police to work on the explosives. It didn't take long for them to finish. Everyone brought the explosives into the mountain again to search for Hee Yongjun and Shin Jianni's hiding place. Just then, Hwa-min turned around and took out a small white bag from her bag. Hwa-min, what are you doing? Gao Ran curiously leaned over to take a look. A big gift for the two bastards who kidnapped my daughter, Hwa-min said calmly. Then, Hwa-min skillfully poured the white powder into the glass bottle and mixed it with gasoline. Chapter 2757. Chin Chu, your wife is showing her power. Gao Ran was speechless. Yeah, don't hold back. Honey, use your talents. If anything happens, I'll take care of it for you. Chin Chu quietly fanned the flames. Gao Ran was speechless upon hearing this. Platoon leader Zhang Bin didn't say a word. He didn't dare to get involved because his superiors told him that this mission was very special. The parents of the missing children were very important people and couldn't be messed with. Even Gao Ran, the director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau, was a few ranks higher than him, not to mention this mysterious couple who looked a little strange. Wait, Hwa-min, don't be impulsive. I know you hate those two people, but it's not good to blow them up, right? Gao Ran thought that Hwa-min was going to kill Hee Yongjun and Shin Jianni in one fell swoop. So, he tried to persuade Hwa-min not to be impulsive. Hwa-min didn't say anything. He lowered his head and continued to fiddle with the machine, looking very serious. Hwa-min, I'm serious, let's not joke around. What I mean is, you can blow up their arms and legs, but I'll be able to report back to my superiors if they're still alive. Don't worry, these two bastards will be locked up for the rest of their lives, Gao Ran continued to persuade him. Hwa-min still didn't say anything. Chin Chu didn't know what he was thinking. Chin Chu, help me persuade your wife. Don't be impulsive, impulsiveness is the devil. Finally, Gao Ran stood up helplessly and turned to Chin Chu for help. My wife likes devils. Mr. Chin was extremely protective of his wife. Gao Ran, just as Gao Ran was speechless, Hwa-min stood up and took out a small glass bottle. The liquid inside was light purple. Don't worry, I won't directly take their lives. I know what I'm doing. Hwa-min said. Hey, that's good. You should have said so earlier. Someone, bring this explosive into the mountains. Wait a minute. Hwa-min stopped them. What? Is there anything else we need to pay attention to? Gao Ran had never had enough of watching Hwa-min develop explosives. Therefore, they weren't sure what kind of firepower it was. If only Suyu was here. Suyu had seen Hwa-min bring liquid explosives to Hua Xichen with his own eyes. The firepower left Suyu flabbergasted. Of course you have to be careful. This thing doesn't have to be too close to Hee Yongjun and the others, it'll be effective within a radius of 10 li, Hwa-min said. Fuck, within a radius of 10 li. You're not blowing people up, you're blowing up mountains. Vice Director Hua. Gao Ran was once again dumbfounded. Let me finish, don't worry. The firepower of this explosive isn't that great, but after it explodes, it will release a chemical gas. So, after we detonate it, we need to quickly evacuate with gas masks. The rest is easy. Hee Youngjun and Shin Jiani will be powerless within 5 minutes once they smell the gas. That's amazing. Gao Ran seemed to be a little skeptical. What? Why don't you try it first? Hua Min asked him back. No, I was just asking. Ha. Did you guys hear what Vice Director Hua said? Gao Ran asked the 2 armed police officers holding the explosives. Yes. Then go, let's get this over with quickly, Gao Ran ordered. When the armed police officers brought the explosives into the depths of the mountains again, it was much easier. They detonated the simple explosives developed by Hua Min according to Qin Chu's deployment location. Then, they blew up the explosives that Hee Youngjun had previously buried, deep in the mountains, behind a huge rock. Shin Jiani trembled as she grabbed Hee Youngjun's clothes. Big Brother Jun, what should we do? They seem to have destroyed all our explosives. Chapter 2758. Hee Youngjun looked at the sky and said calmly, "Don't be afraid. It's going to be dark soon. If we hide, they won't be able to find us. I heard that military dogs are very powerful." Shin Jiani said worriedly, thinking about some military programs she had seen on TV. "Don't worry. It's all gunpowder here. Military dogs won't be able to sense us." Hee Youngjun didn't seem to care about the armed police. He was used to hiding from place to place. He already had a rich anti-reconnaissance ability. It would be very difficult for ordinary people to catch him. It was going to be dark soon. It would be very difficult to catch him in the dark mountains. Hee Youngjun was good at mountain roads, so he could continue to run in the dark with Shin Jiani. By the time the sun rose, the 2 of them would probably be on another mountain. They would have to abandon all their electronic devices. They wouldn't even be able to locate them. Hee Youngjun was indeed cunning. But he didn't expect Hua Min to have a countermeasure. Inside the military car, Qin Chu put his arm around Hua Min's shoulder and helped her into the back seat of the car. Then, he took off his clothes and covered her legs with them. "It's very cold in the mountains at night. You have to be careful not to catch a cold," Qin Chu said. Hua Min nodded. "If I'm not wrong, there's ammonium nitrate in it, right?" "Yes." Hua Min smiled and nodded. He was indeed her husband. He knew her well. But if it's just ammonium nitrate, it can't be that color. "So I think there's a special imported chemical from your hospital, WT2, Qin Chu guessed. "You're right. Guess what the poisonous gas is?" "That's easy. It's made of ether and anesthetic. One makes people unconscious, and the other makes people immobile." "Humph. You guessed it. It's not fun." Hua Min pouted. "By the way, when did you bring these things? How come I didn't notice?" Qin Chu really didn't notice that Hua Min had so much synthetic chemical powder on him. "When I first received the news that they were hiding in the mountains, I thought that since Hee Youngjun was a sly old man, it wouldn't be easy to catch him. So, I brought some with me, thinking that they might come in handy. Well, my wife is still so smart. Who said that pregnancy makes a woman stupid for 3 years? I don't think she's stupid at all. Instead, she's grown a lot." Qin Chu praised. "Pudding and Little Bean are already 3.5 years old. 3 years of pregnancy is over, okay? I'm back to full health now, but..." Hua Min was just about to say, "I'm going to enter the stage of pregnancy stupidity again." But when the words were about to come out of his mouth, he held them back. "But what?" Seeing that Hua Min had stopped talking halfway, Qin Chu was anxious. Nothing. Honey, I'm a little thirsty." can you get me a cup of hot water? Huamin changed the subject. Chin Chu immediately turned around and went to get the water. Huamin was glad that Chin Chu was by her side no matter how difficult the situation was. He took care of her all the time. The only thing she hoped for was that the children would come back safely. That was her only wish right now. Huamin put her hand on her belly and said softly, "Baby, be good. Pray for your sisters to come back safely, okay?" In the Qinghe mountain village, when the kidnappers were drinking, the leaders suddenly said, "Go, bring the two kids out. We should ask for the phone number of their billionaire father." Chapter 27:59. Okay, big brother. One of the drunken lackeys went to the warehouse and brought out the twins who were locked inside. They were tied up with ropes. "Sis, what should we do?" Little Bean panicked. "It's okay. Don't be afraid, Little Bean. I used to be the one negotiating, but this time, it's your turn." "What? Me?" Little Bean was surprised. The henchman was drunk and didn't pay attention to the conversation between the two kids. He just held the rope and walked forward. "Yeah. I can't be the one doing this every time. After all, you need to learn some survival skills." "Pfft. Sis, please let me go. How can you let me do an experiment at a time like this? What if I don't do it well and that man kills us both?" Little Bean didn't dare to make such a big decision. "I believe you have the ability to keep us safe." Little Bean looked at her sister with confidence. "No, I don't even believe in myself." "Sis, you should do it. You're good with words and you're smart." "No, I won't say anything. You have to train yourself. You'll be the one doing the talking. Otherwise, we'll be killed." Little Bean didn't know what to do. Little Bean was about to say something when the henchman turned around and scolded her. "You two brats, don't talk nonsense. Be quiet. When you see my big brother, you'll answer whatever he asks you. Otherwise, you'll suffer." Just like that, the two kids were brought to the man called Big Brother Hai. "Big brother, they're here." "Hey, Big Beard, I want to talk to you alone." Little Bean gathered her courage and looked at the man called Big Brother Hai. "Big Beard." Big Brother Hai was surprised. The henchmen touched themselves and found that only their big brother had a beard. "Big brother, this brat is calling you," one of the henchmen said. "Brat, how can you talk to my big brother like that?" The other henchman was angry and raised his hand to hit Little Bean. However, he was stopped by the man called Brother Hai. He laughed and stood up. "Big Beard, this name is not bad. I do have a lot of beard. But, you child, you look young, but you are quite brave, aren't you? How old are you?" 3.5, Little Bean answered without hesitation. "Only 3.5 years old. You're so young. Are you twins?" Big Brother Hai looked at Little Bean and then at Pudding. "If they're not twins, why would they look so alike? Isn't that obvious?" Little Bean retorted. Kid, you're quite aggressive. This is not being aggressive. This is called being arrogant. Do you understand? Our family's genes are like this. My grandparents are arrogant, and so is my aunt. My daddy and mommy are the kings of arrogance, so when it comes to me and my sister, we can't admit defeat." Big Beard was stunned by Little Bean's words. "Let me ask you, are you really only 3 years old?" The bearded man questioned. "Do you want me to show you my birth certificate?" Little Bean replied confidently. "That won't be necessary. Actually, I don't care how old you are. What I care about now is the two of you." Hurry up and tell me how to contact your father or mother. Landline numbers are fine too. Contact them immediately. We want the ransom. What if we don't tell you? Little Bean asked. If you don't tell me, then you won't have a good ending. You know, I don't want to bully kids. Big Brother High smiled and answered Little Bean. Chapter 2760. But you've already bullied her. You're bullying a 3.5-year-old child, Little Bean said. Big Brother High, cut the crap. Hurry up and tell us your phone number. Let's not waste time. The twins looked at each other, speechless. Big Brother High gave his subordinate a look. One of his subordinates immediately took out a kitchen knife. Then, he took out a dead chicken from nowhere. In front of the twins, he chopped it. They thought that the child would immediately break down and cry when she saw this scene. Then, she would tell them her phone number. Who knew? The twins looked calmly at the man chopping the chicken with disdain in their eyes. Are you acting funny? Pudding asked. Little brat, let me tell you. If you don't tell us your phone number, you'll end up like this, the subordinate said fiercely. Unexpectedly, Little Bean walked over and snatched the kitchen knife from his hand. Then, he aimed at the dead chicken's neck. With a loud clang, he ruthlessly chopped the chicken's head off. The burly men had never seen such a scene before. They were dumbfounded. Pudding, on the other hand, was very calm because Little Bean was famous for her courage. When she first learned how to walk, she played with a snake with her bare hands. Even the maids at home were shocked. Therefore, chopping a chicken, especially a dead chicken, was a piece of cake for Little Bean. Big Brother High, this child, is very fierce. The subordinate was ashamed of his inferiority. You guys are really a bunch of trash. You can't even scare a child. I fucking raised you for nothing. So, what other tricks do you have? Hurry up and use them. Little Bean threw the kitchen knife on the ground. The back of the knife hit the foot of the man chopping the chicken, causing him to immediately cover his foot. Not bad, child. You're brave. You're born to be a bandit. How about this? You can be my goddaughter. Bah, you wish. You want to be my godfather. Do you think you're worthy? Little Bean looked down on the man called Big Brother High. Stupid girl, what are you talking about? You're asking for a beating. The men behind her couldn't stand it anymore and wanted to step forward. But he was stopped by Big Brother High. Scram, none of you are allowed to touch her. I like this child. If only she were my biological daughter, I would definitely give her my entire empire. She is a natural-born bandit. Alright, stop daydreaming. Let's get down to business. Big Beard, let's talk. Sure, what do you want to talk about? Big Brother High liked this chubby little girl more and more, so he was naturally interested in her words. There are too many people here. Let's talk inside. Little Bean looked around. Alright, I want to see how capable you are. You want to negotiate with me? You really want to go to heaven? Big Brother High laughed and waved his hand to dismiss his men. He also signaled for someone to take Pudding to the side. Sister, I will think of a way to deal with Big Beard. Wait for me, don't be afraid. Pudding said in a low voice when they walked past her. Pudding nodded. In the house, the bearded man leaned against the chair with a toothpick in his hand and looked at the little guy in front of him. Alright, let's talk now. Big Beard, you know who my daddy is, right? Sort of. I heard your daddy is very rich, the bearded man said. Yes, he is very rich, but he is also very fierce, especially to his enemies. So, Big Beard, do you think you can get away with the ransom if you take my sister and me? You know that if my daddy wants to kill someone, it's easier than killing an ant, Little Bean said calmly. Are you trying to scare me? Do you think I'm scared? The bearded man laughed. Chapter 2761. Scare you? No, no, no. I, Chin Mumu, would never do something as cowardly as scaring people. Big Beard, I'm serious. You have to listen carefully, or you'll regret it. Little Bean's face was unprecedentedly serious. Although she was definitely very nervous in her heart, since her elder sister had given her such an important task, she definitely couldn't embarrass herself. In the past, people often said that Pudding was so smart that she took after her parents. Every time, Little Bean would feel awkward. She was actually very smart, but she was always overshadowed by her sister's brilliance. I'm listening carefully. Girl, go on. Big Beard really liked this little thing. So, he didn't show any impatience. In other words, if you take the ransom, even if you're lucky enough to escape, you won't be able to stay in the country. Think about it, the country is cracking down on the most wanted criminals. Now that the tickets are registered, it'll be hard for you to survive. Do you want to spend the rest of your life in the mountains after taking 1 billion yuan? Little Bean spread out her hands and made a hypothesis. Big Beard nodded. You're right. But we can go abroad and have fun. Abroad? Hee hee. Little Bean sneered. Hee hee what? Big Beard was confused. Do you think it's easy to live abroad? Iraq, Syria, and Pakistan are all at war all year round. Why would I go there? If I want to go, I'll go to Canada or the U.S., Big Beard quibbled. Big Beard, I'm not looking down on you, but tell me the truth. Have you been to the U.S.? Little Bean asked seriously. No. Why? Have you been there? Big Beard asked back, unconvinced. Little Bean looked proud. Of course. My grandparents lived in the U.S., and so did my second grandpa and aunt. My sister and I have been there before, so we know the situation there. The U.S. is a legalized country, and there are shootings on the streets at any time. If you don't have bodyguards, the gangs there can bully Chinese. You guys don't even know how to speak a foreign language. Do you think it's easy to go abroad? Also, do you know why I don't like the U.S.? Little Bean asked. I don't know. The bearded man was already brainwashed by Little Bean, so he followed Little Bean's train of thought very smoothly. That's because there's too little good food in the States. You'll puke if you eat hamburgers, cola, and chicken wings all day long. Let me tell you, even the steak is half done when it's served. It's not like China, where there are so many different cuisines. If you want to eat dumplings, you have dumplings, pies, and red bean buns. You're lying to me. I watch movies too. There's a Chinatown and a Chinese restaurant there. The bearded man continued to quibble. That's right, but the things in there are extremely expensive. Even the Lao Gan Ma that is sold in Chinese supermarkets is a few dozen bottles. Can you afford it? Damn it, it's so expensive. Is this daylight robbery? The bearded man was completely influenced by Little Bean. Of course. What do you think? That's why I said, don't think of overseas as paradise. It's not that easy. So, what should I do? The bearded man was unsure of what to do after hearing Little Bean's words. Chapter 2762. He grew up in the mountains and never went to school. He relied on a group of brothers to survive. They ate and drank. Usually, they would go to the small town to ask for some protection money. When they grew up, they thought about building a bandit's nest here. Although it was called a bandit's nest, Big Brother High and the others didn't do anything big or evil. It was just that there were some good cars coming and going. They would rob them and get some money to spend. This time, there was actually a reason for the car robbery. It was because in this group of brothers, there was a guy called Arai who was in a relationship with a girl from Wong Village. Then, the girl wanted 100,000 yuan as a gift. Otherwise, she wouldn't agree to the marriage. According to Big Brother High's plan, he would forcefully marry her and directly kidnap her. However, Arai felt that he really loved her and didn't want to wrong the girl, so he wanted to rely on himself to get 100,000 yuan. Therefore, the few of them thought about it and went all out to do a big job. They didn't expect to meet such a big money tree in the first round. To be honest, Big Brother High and the others hadn't seen much of the world. When Zhang Manlin finished talking to them, they were excited. However, they couldn't suppress the nervousness and fear in their hearts. One had to know that if they were caught by the police for carjacking and stealing money, they would at most be sentenced to a few years. If it was more serious, it would be more than 10 years. However, if it was a kidnapping, the mood would be different. Although they were a group of boorish people and didn't know much about the law, they watched a lot of TV and knew that it was a big crime. Now that they heard Little Bean say this, they felt even more scared. I have a good idea. It's up to you whether you accept it or not, Little Bean said. Tell me, I'm listening. Big Beard, what do you think of me? Little Bean asked. You have guts. I really like you. Otherwise, would I let you be my goddaughter? Big Brother High had a high opinion of her. Don't talk nonsense with me. What I mean is, although I'm a child, do you think I'm smart? Yes, a prodigy. Big Brother High had never seen a 3-year-old child who could speak so much and make so much sense. If he saw a child like Little Bean in the depths of the mountains, he would think that she was a ginseng child who had become a spirit. So, my words have some authority, right? Little Bean continued to pave the way for her. All right, go ahead. I'll listen first. Big Brother High seemed to be quite serious. Big Beard, let me show you the way. Since you didn't hurt or mistreat my sister and me, as long as you inform my daddy and ask him to come and pick us up, you guys will be our saviors this time. When we get home safely, not only will we not call the police to arrest you, I can also ask my daddy to settle all the small things you guys did in the past and let bygones be bygones. Also, my daddy will give each of you a house in Sea City, a car for each of you, and most importantly, a job for each of you. Do you know why I'm giving you jobs? Little Bean asked. The bearded man shook his head, looking very confused. According to the ancient books, it is better to teach a man how to fish than to give him fish. It means, it is better to teach you how to fish than to give you fish directly. You will eat all the fish I give you one day. However, if I teach you how to fish, you will be able to catch a lot of fish. At that time, you will have an endless supply of fish. Which one do you think is more appropriate? As Little Bean spoke, she extended her chubby finger and poked the bearded man's nose. So, you're giving us jobs for our own good. The bearded man seemed to understand after hearing Little Bean's words. Chapter 2763. Of course, I can ask Daddy to give you money. But, if he gives you money and you squander it, what will happen in the future? So, why don't I find you stable jobs? You're not young anymore. What era is this? Don't take over the mountain and call yourself king. That's so childish. You're like cavemen. So, if you're willing to do this, I'll arrange a good job for each of you. Then, you won't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of your lives. The most important thing is that you can leave this place. That's a good idea. But how can I trust you? Big Beard looked at Little Bean and asked. Because you have no choice. It's up to you whether you want to go to heaven or hell. Also, don't blame me for not reminding you. Do you think you can live to spend 1,000,000,000 yuan? Do you know what it means to be unlucky? Little Bean's words pierced the bearded man's heart. Big Beard, if you don't trust me, then you can't trust Zhang Manlin. Zhang Manlin. You mean that woman? Big Beard froze. Yes. Do you know what our relationship is with her? She said she's also the one who caught you. Big Beard vaguely remembered Zhang Manlin saying this before. That's right. That woman is indeed a bad person. She also wants to catch us. But she's different from you. You're only after money. She wants to kill me and my sister. Ha! No way. Big Beard obviously felt that Little Bean's words were a bit ridiculous. Don't you see that she's a woman who had plastic surgery? That's true. When the light flashes, the bridge of the nose becomes transparent. That's what they say on TV. Many female celebrities have plastic surgery or something. In my opinion, after they have plastic surgery, they are not as good looking as the girls in the villages below. The bearded man lamented. Not only did she have plastic surgery, but she also purposely made herself look like our mommy. She wanted to seduce Daddy. This kind of scheming bitch is the worst. My sister and I taught her a lesson before, so she holds a grudge. This time, she caught us and instigated you to kidnap us. When the police come, she'll be the victim and you'll be the scapegoat for her. Fuck. Big Beard finally understood. Now that I put it this way, you should understand a little, right? I didn't think too much about it. Now that you mention it, this woman isn't a good person. The bearded man didn't like Zhang Manlin to begin with. Hearing Little Bean's words, he got even angrier. Zhang Manlin wants to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. She wants to get rid of us and get rid of you. Unfortunately, my sister and I won't let her get away with it. Big Beard, we don't have much time left. Either you listen to me and tell my dad, or you listen to Zhang Manlin and kidnap us for ransom. I'll give you the phone number, but how you tell my dad is your choice. You can become our family's savior in an instant and accept my dad's reward with a clear conscience. Or, you can become the most wanted criminal overnight and run for your life with the money. Or, you can be shot dead by the police before you get the money. It's your choice. This matter? No, it's a bit messy. I need to think about it. The bearded man had no idea what to do after hearing Little Bean's words. Okay, you can think about it for 1 night. Give me an answer tomorrow morning. There's something else I want to tell you secretly. Little Bean hooked her finger and said mysteriously to the bearded man. Big Beard actually came over obediently and followed Little Bean's command. Chapter 2764. After Little Bean and Big Brother Hai finished talking, they were sent back to the warehouse. But before they could sit down, their subordinates moved them to another place. This time, they were changed to a comfortable room and treated like VIPs. Big Brother Hai said to treat you too well. After saying that, the man left some warm meat buns, fruits, and water and left. Looks like the negotiation went well. Pudding looked at the treatment and knew that Little Bean and Big Brother Hai must have finished talking. Of course. If I, Little Bean, went out, nothing would grow within 100 miles. Stop bragging. Talk properly. How did it go? Did he agree? Pudding asked. He didn't agree. He said he'll think about it for a night. But I think he'll agree. I've already analyzed the pros and cons. As long as he's not an idiot, he'll know what to choose. I think it's about time. All right, the two of you can eat and sleep without worry. Tomorrow, you'll see Daddy and Mommy. Pudding stretched lazily and brought the food over. The two girls seemed to be in a good mood. They ate meat buns and fruits. On the other hand, Zhang Manlin wasn't so lucky. She was locked in a cold and damp basement. Although it was called a basement, it was actually a cellar to store cabbage. It was full of the smell of rotten vegetables and rats. Zhang Manlin was so scared that she curled up in a corner and didn't dare to move. At this time, the sky gradually darkened. A man with a flashlight quietly came to the basement. Who is it? Zhang Manlin trembled in fear. Don't talk. If you don't want to die, shut up. Then, the man slowly approached her. Then, a pair of big hands wandered around her body. Big brother, please do me a favor and let me go. After you get the ransom, you can have any woman you want. Zhang Manlin knew what the man was going to do, so she tried to persuade him. Don't talk nonsense. Let me feel good first. I haven't tasted a woman in a long time. I can't wait to get the ransom. Plus, if you're with me, I'll treat you well. After saying that, the man kissed her in the dark. Zhang Manlin wanted to fight back, but she felt a dagger at her waist. If you move again, I'll stab you, the man threatened fiercely. Zhang Manlin was afraid of death, so she was too scared to move. She closed her eyes and reluctantly cooperated. Half an hour later, the man pulled up his pants and said with some surprise, I didn't expect you to be a virgin. I thought that the women in your city had already been slept to death. Zhang Manlin gritted her teeth and sat up. Enduring the pain, she straightened her collar. She wanted to kill this man, but she didn't dare to say anything. Don't worry, I'm not a heartless person. Since you gave me your first time, I'll definitely give you something after we get the ransom. Of course, if you're willing to follow me, you can always follow me. This man was one of Big Brother Hai's underlings. His nickname was Slippery Head. Because he had a lot of ideas and thoughts, everyone called him Slippery Head. While everyone was drunk and asleep, he couldn't resist the temptation. So, he went to the basement and raped Zhang Manlin. But after all, he was from the mountains and had a simple personality. So, after he raped her and found out that it was her first time, he wanted compensation. Big brother, I don't want money or compensation. Just do something for me. Zhang Manlin deliberately coaxed the man. Chapter 2765. Do you want me to let you go now? No, the boss won't agree. Even if you want to leave, you have to wait until we've dealt with the two kids. Otherwise, who knows if you'll tip him off. Trickster looked at Zhang Manlin cautiously and said slowly. It's not about that. I know it's too hard for you to let me go. Zhang Manlin pretended to be understanding. Trickster relaxed a little after hearing this. He relaxed and hugged her. As long as it's not about that, everything else is fine. After all, you're my woman now. Then, Trickster leaned over and kissed Zhang Manlin on the lips. Zhang Manlin resisted the urge to vomit. She never thought that one day, she would be bullied by a gangster. It's about the two kids. Let me ask you, what are you going to do with them? After you get the ransom, will you kill them or kill them? I haven't thought about that yet. Let's see what the boss wants. But I don't think he'll do that. Don't be fooled by his fierce look. He's not a bad person. We haven't hurt anyone in the past few years, so it's unlikely that he'll kill the 2 kids. Even Trickster felt that it was enough to get the money. Why would they kill the kids? After all, the 2 kids were still young and looked quite cute. That's where you're wrong. That's what I want to talk about. After you get the ransom, you must kill the 2 kids, Zhang Manlin said mysteriously. Why? Because think about it. They've seen your faces. It'll be easy for the police to arrest you in the future. But the boss said that the kid's father is very powerful. If that's the case, we won't be able to escape even if we kill the kids. The kid's father will come after us, Trickster refuted Zhang Manlin. You can't think like that. Let me put it this way. We're in the same boat now. Because I exposed their identities, the 2 kids see me as an enemy. And you guys, you've kidnapped them for so long. Even if you don't kill them, the kid's father won't let you go. So, I think it's better for you guys to get rid of the roots. Zhang Manlin continued to instigate Trickster. Actually, one of the reasons she hated the twins was because she was afraid that if the twins returned safely, then, they would definitely tell Qin Chu that she was the one who revealed the twins' identity. At that time, wouldn't Qin Chu have a bad impression of him? They might even be dealt with by Huomin and the others. If that was the case, they might as well go all the way and kill the 2 children. At that time, Zhang Manlin could insist that she was also a victim. She wanted to save the child but failed. In this case, whether it was the police or Qin Chu, they had no reason to suspect her. Hearing Zhang Manlin's words, Trickster hesitated. Those 2 children are too young. I really don't have the heart to kill them. How can a person like you do great things? You're so soft-hearted. Don't forget, you're a kidnapper, not a charity. Zhang Manlin looked at the man in front of her with disappointment. She thought he was a complete loser. I can't make the decision. It's up to the boss. I have an idea. Just listen to me. Zhang Manlin didn't seem to give up so easily and continued to persuade the man in front of her. Chapter 2766. What idea? Trickster looked at Zhang Manlin in confusion. After you get the ransom, if your boss asks you to let them go, just go. When the time comes, you can just put the 2 children into a bag and throw them into the sea. After that, you can go back and get your share of the money. Then, you can go far away. Hearing this, Trickster looked at Zhang Manlin suspiciously. Of course, I can't stay here any longer. The police will definitely arrest me. I have nowhere else to go in my current state, so I think that as long as you help me do this, I'll feel at ease and go with you. When the time comes, we'll go to a new place, a place where no one knows us, and start anew. Then, Zhang Manlin deliberately winked at Trickster to seduce him. Will you really go with me? No matter how smart a man was, once he fell into a woman's trap, he would still become irrational. Of course, I'm already yours. I have nowhere else to go. You'll take me with you, right? Zhang Manlin smiled sweetly and held the man's arm in front of her. Yes, I may not have studied for many years, but I'm not a heartless man. Since you're with me, I'll definitely take responsibility. Trickster was touched by Zhang Manlin's beautiful wish. So, you promise me, right? Zhang Manlin asked worriedly. But, do we have to kill the 2 kids? Trickster still couldn't make up his mind. If they don't die, there will be endless trouble. Listen to me, I won't cheat you. I know the parents too well. Zhang Manlin tried to scare Trickster again. Then, okay, then it's settled for now. We'll talk about it when I get the money. Okay, you must tell your boss when the time comes. You'll send the kids back. Okay. Trickster nodded, his heart heavy. Then I'll go back first. The boss will be looking for me soon. How long do I have to stay here? It's so dark here, and there are rats. I'm so scared. Zhang Manlin whined. Trickster couldn't bear it. To be honest, although he wasn't a virgin, he had slept with prostitutes before. This was the first time he slept with a prostitute, and it was his first time too. So, there was a subtle change in his heart. His sense of responsibility was bursting. How about this? You follow me up first. You can stay in my room, but I still have to tie your hands and feet. Is that okay? Otherwise, my brothers will be suspicious. Okay. Zhang Manlin nodded obediently. But don't worry, our boss will definitely settle this matter today. When that time comes, you will be free. All right. Just like that, Trickster led Zhang Manlin out of the basement and into his room. Zhang Manlin's hands and feet were tied up, so there was no way she could run. Even if she wanted to, she couldn't. If she ran out now, she would definitely be suspected by the police. Therefore, she had to stay and continue to play the victim, the same victim as the twins, so that she could wash away the suspicion. Early morning, the criminals were having breakfast together. Trickster was the latest to arrive. Brat, why did you only wake up now? Did you drink so little last night? One of them asked. I overslept, ha. Trickster picked up a steamed bun and put it near his mouth. Then, he stole a glance at Big Brother Hai and asked, Boss, what are we going to do with those two kids? After we get the ransom, do we kill them or? Chapter 2767. Why are you asking? Big Brother Hai raised his head and glanced at Trickster. Ha, I'm just asking. I have my own ideas on this matter. You don't have to worry about it. Big Brother, when should we make the call? Didn't the two brats give us their father's phone number? Leave it to me. I'm most willing to ask people for money. Ha. An unreliable subordinate took the initiative to raise his hand. Fuck off. You can't even speak clearly and you still want to ask the big boss for money, Big Brother Hai scolded. Hee hee. Right, Big Brother, how much money do we want? 1 billion. My God, I've never seen so much money in my life. How am I going to spend it? 1 billion. We have a total of 6 people here. The 5 of us only need 100 million each. Big Brother has taken care of us for the past few years and has contributed the most. Big Brother, you'll get 500 million. Do you have any objections? Another brother asked jokingly. Of course not. It's settled then. Big Brother, 500 million. The rest of us will get 100 million each. Big Brother Hai saw this scene and to be honest, he wasn't excited. He suddenly thought of what the kid said last night. So much money. Do you have the life to spend it? Yes, sometimes having too much money wasn't a good thing. He was afraid that he would meet with unexpected disasters. Big Brother, what are you thinking about? You look troubled. It's nothing. After you guys finish eating, hurry up and get to work. 2 of you go and watch the 2 children. 2 of you go and watch the woman. And you, Crafty, go and stand guard at the door. Keep an eye on it and see if there's any movement outside. Don't let our nest be destroyed without us knowing. Okay. After breakfast, everyone dispersed. Big Brother Hai sat on a chair and closed his eyes to rest. When it came to deciding one's own fate, one would appear indecisive. Big Brother Hai himself was a small-time hooligan. Therefore, if he was asked to do a big business, he didn't have the confidence to do it well. He repeatedly thought about what the kid said last night. The brothers in front of him had been with him for a few years. They were all poor people in the nearby villages. It wasn't easy for them. If they weren't forced, no one would be willing to do this kind of shady business. On the other hand, he took the money and was being hunted down. He ran away with the name of a wanted criminal, which was shameful. Even if they left the country, it might not be heaven. A group of uncouth villagers would definitely not be used to living in a foreign country, especially the language. On the other hand, he could be a good person and call the child's father to pick him up. Then, he could accept the gift from the child's father. Of course, it sounded like the second option was better and safer, but the problem now was, how could he trust that child? She believed that when they returned, the child's parents would not turn hostile and send them to the police station. That was the key. The trust between people was actually very fragile. On the other side, the explosives developed by Huamin finally forced He Yongjun and Shen Jiani out of hiding in the depths of the mountain. Huamin's anesthetic was just right. They could not move, but they did not lose consciousness. Therefore, when the armed police soldiers escorted the two of them out, Shen Jiani was surprised to see Huamin. "We finally caught them. Bastard. You made me mobilize so many people. Everyone has worked hard." Gao Ran was gratified as he waved his hand at the soldiers who came to support this time. "Chief Gao, I'll hand them over to you now. You can directly escort them back." Platoon leader Zhang Bin said. "Okay, put them in the police car." Gao Ran waved his hand. "Wait a minute." Qin Chu suddenly said coldly. Chapter 2768. Everyone turned around and saw Qin Chu walk out from behind Gao Ran. Qin Chu's jacket had been draped over Huamin's shoulders, so Mr. Qin was only wearing a clean white shirt. Under the morning sunlight, his shirt was especially clear and bright. Qin Chu walked towards He Yongjun without a word. When he was right in front of He Yongjun, he punched He Yongjun's abdomen without warning. He Yongjun groaned, but it was obvious from his expression that he was in pain. "Qin Chu, what kind of ability are you? You even used the armed police to catch me. Ha! I really looked down on you. So, what?" Qin Chu glanced at He Yongjun's ferocious face indifferently. "Do you dare to fight me one-on-one?" He Yongjun licked his lips and asked provocatively. "With you?" Qin Chu curled his lips in disdain. "What? You don't dare." He Yongjun continued to provoke him. "Are you sure?" Qin Chu asked back. "Of course. If you're a man, don't ask for help. Fight me one-on-one. We'll fight barehanded. If you lose, you'll let us go. Do you dare? What if you lose?" Qin Chu looked at He Yongjun. "Then I'll let you do whatever you want to me." "Qin Chu, don't listen to him. What kind of bullshit bet is this? He has no right to negotiate. He's just an evil criminal. Go back to jail and eat cornbread." Gao Ran didn't want Qin Chu and He Yongjun to fight. If Qin Chu lost, He Yongjun would run away. Then, all their efforts would be for nothing. If Qin Chu won and He Yongjun said he could do whatever he wanted to him, what else could he do? Now that they had him, they could do whatever they wanted to him. Why would they risk fighting him? "It's okay. I'm interested. One-on-one, right? Come on." Mr. Qin slowly rolled up the sleeves of his white shirt and beckoned to He Yongjun with his finger. "Qin Chu." Gao Ran seemed to want to persuade him. "Let him go. Let him come here." Qin Chu seemed to have given Gao Ran an order that could not be disobeyed. Growing up together, he knew his temper too well. Gao Ran only waved his hand to signal the two policemen to let go of Hee Yongjun. Platoon leader Zhang Bin had originally wanted to leave with his men, but after seeing this good show, he actually wanted to stay and watch this duel. Qin Chu, you really are a real man, Hee Yongjun said with some admiration. Cut the crap. Come. Qin Chu coldly glanced at Hee Yongjun. Hua Min stood beside Gao Ran with a cup of hot water in her hand. Inside the cup was the hot water that Qin Chu had boiled for her in the morning. Hua Min, I think you should control your husband. He's too stubborn. I know what he wants to do. Let him do it. That's what I want. Hua Min's gaze was fixed on Qin Chu's figure. Okay. You two are the best in the world. In the end, Gao Ran was convinced and didn't say anything else. Hua Min had confidence in Mr. Qin. Not to mention a piece of trash like Hee Yongjun, even Hua Xichen and Su Yu would be able to fight Qin Chu one-on-one. Hua Min also felt that her husband wouldn't lose. This was a strong trust. Hee Yongjun rushed over like a mad dog. For his freedom, he had to use all his strength to defeat Qin Chu. With the mentality of burning all his boats, he rushed forward. Every move he made was deadly. On the other hand, Qin Chu's face was calm. He countered every move that came his way. First, he focused on defense, allowing Hee Yongjun to continuously attack. Chapter 2769. Ha! What's wrong with Chu? Why isn't he fighting back? Gao Ran was very anxious and kept muttering to himself. Hua Min, tell me, what's your husband doing? Have you ever seen a cat kill a mouse in one bite? Most of them don't play for a while first. Hua Min's example was very appropriate. Ha, I get it now. This guy is the blackest of black-bellied. Gao Ran suddenly realized. These few days, the disappearance of the twins had caused a lot of chaos in everyone's lives. Gao Ran hadn't slept well in a long time. Although someone brought him food, he still didn't have much of an appetite. Especially his brat Gao Buiyuan, who was pulling a long face and didn't seem to be smiling at all. Now that the twins were back, everything was fine. The sky was clear after the storm. Seeing that Hee Yongjun had used up most of his strength, Qin Chu began to switch from defense to offense. Hee Yongjun was able to dodge at first, but later on, his footsteps were obviously weak and he couldn't move as much as he wanted to. Big brother Jun, be careful. Shinjiani was still hoping that Hee Yongjun could beat Qin Chu. With Qin Chu's identity, he definitely kept his word, so she wanted to run away with Hee Yongjun. But how could things be so simple in this world? After a few hits, Hee Yongjun couldn't take it anymore. He knelt down on one knee and was beaten to a pulp by Qin Chu. This guy is so strong. The surrounding armed police couldn't help but exclaim. Platoon leader, can you tell what kind of move he is using? Is it karate? Someone asked platoon leader Zhang Bin. Zhang Bin shook his head. It doesn't look like it. It looks more like the deadly combat skills that the U.S. Navy SEALs used during their special training. Wow, so strong. Looks like there's no suspense in this match. It's obviously a one-sided abuse of that scumbag. Everyone couldn't help but applaud Qin Chu's skills. Qin Chu's personality was very slow and calm. It was rare to see him get angry over something and take action personally. Even Gao Ran, who had been his buddy for so many years, had only seen a few of them. Gao Ran vaguely remembered that when they were in school, Qin Chu had fought for Hua Min. At that time, some girls were jealous, so they found gangsters outside the school to rob Hua Min and ruin her face. In the end, Qin Chu happened to pass by and helped Huamin. Two people, each holding a table leg, were fighting with 7 or 8 people on the other side. In the end, the two of them only suffered minor injuries, while the other party was in a terrible state. This incident caused quite a stir in the school at the time. Then, 4 years ago, when Qin Chu returned to the country, the pregnant woman's family sent people to cause trouble at the hospital in order to blackmail Huamin. Qin Chu was furious. He tore off his tie, barged into the detention room, and beat him up. This time, Qin Chu beat this scumbag to the brink of death for his daughter. "Stop it, you bastard, let him go. I'm going to sue you. Even if we're suspects, we have human rights. You can't do this." Shinjiani's voice was hoarse from all the shouting, but no one cared about her. In the end, Qin Chu let out a sigh of relief. He stood up, took out a dagger, and threw it at He Yongjun's hand. "Come, fulfill your promise." Qin Chu's tone was extremely cold. "Big brother Jun, don't." Shinjiani screamed. Huamin looked at all of this indifferently. She didn't feel any pity for scumbags who kidnapped her child. They deserved it. He Yongjun's face was covered in blood. He was lying on the ground, barely breathing. He supported himself and slowly picked up the dagger. Chapter 2770. He used all his strength to pick up the knife, but he suddenly changed direction and stabbed at Qin Chu. "Ah! Go to hell." He Yongjun rushed over with all his might as if he had gone mad. "Be careful, honey." Huamin was also scared out of her wits. Unexpectedly, Qin Chu was very calm. He pulled He Yongjun's hair and punched him in the stomach. This time, he used a lot of strength. After swaying a few times, He Yongjun fell to the ground with a thud. Qin Chu walked over, raised his foot, and stepped on his wrist. "Coward, since you don't dare to do it yourself, then I'll do it for you." After saying that, Qin Chu pulled out the dagger, raised his hand, and stabbed it directly into He Yongjun's thigh. "Ah!" He let out a howl like a pig being slaughtered. "Chu, that's enough. Leave the rest to us." Gao Ran stepped in at the appropriate time. He felt that Qin Chu had vented his anger. He couldn't kill him in front of so many people, right? Even if he was a vicious criminal, he had to be punished by the law. Qin Chu naturally understood what Gao Ran meant, so he stood up slightly. Huamin quickly took out a white wet wipe from her bag and handed it to Qin Chu. He wiped the blood off his hand. At this moment, Qin Chu's phone rang. It was an unknown number. He frowned slightly and picked up the call. "Mr. Qin Chu, right?" "Yes." Hearing the voice of an unknown man on the other end, Qin Chu felt that this call was related to his daughters. "Sure enough," that person said again, "I know where your 2 daughters are." "Where are they?" After Qin Chu hung up the phone, his expression was still as calm as water. He picked up his phone and called Su Yu and gave him an address. Then, he looked at Gao Ran. "You guys escort these 2 people back first. Lend me the helicopter. Are you going to Qinghe Town?" Gao Ran seemed to understand Qin Chu's thoughts. "Yes. There's news about the twins." Gao Ran was overjoyed. Qin Chu nodded. "All right, then hurry up and go. We'll take the police car back. Don't forget to let us know when you pick up the child safely." In this way, Gao Ran and Qin Chu parted at the foot of the mountain. Huamin didn't forget to walk over gratefully. He looked at platoon leader Zhang Bin and bowed. "Hey, Vice Dean Hua, don't be like this. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your hard work today. When my daughter comes home safely, I will definitely come here to visit everyone if I have the chance. Thank you. After that, Chin-Chu and Huamin boarded the helicopter and left. Hubby, who called just now? Probably because he's a kidnapper. Huh? Did they say how much ransom they wanted? Huamin was surprised. No, they seem to have changed their mind. They gave me the address directly and asked me to pick up the child. Suyu is closer, so I asked him to bring some people over first. It's not a trap, right? Huamin felt uneasy. During this period of time, she had been tortured to the point of being paranoid. She couldn't even sleep well. As long as she closed her eyes, she would see the two children's voices and smiles. Don't worry, it won't happen. Chin-Chu hugged Huamin tightly in his arms and comforted her softly. Qinghe Town mountain range. After receiving Chin-Chu's call, Suyu and Tang Chuan brought the local police there. Big brother, bad news. The police are here. Have we been exposed? Trickster, who was guarding the door, was scared out of his wits. Big brother Hai walked out to greet them calmly. When he saw Suyu, he glanced at him and asked, "Are you the child's father?" Cut the crap. Where are the two children? Suyu couldn't help but have the urge to kill. His words were very harsh. Chapter 2771. Ha! How dare you talk to my big brother like that? Trickster saw how arrogant the man in the lead was. Immediately, he felt that he had lost face. The most important thing for these hooligans was face. Trickster felt that Big Brother Hai had been seriously insulted, so he recklessly rushed up to Suyu and reached out his hand. Before his fist could touch Suyu, a pistol was already pressed against his temple, and his expression was very calm. The silver pistol in his hand was as cold as his personality. It was a piece of cake for an outstanding bodyguard like Shaoan to deal with such a mob. Ha! Big brother, let's talk nicely, ha! Trickster's expression immediately changed. Who the hell wants to talk to you? Hurry up and give me the children, or I'll kill one every second. Suyu had a bad temper to begin with. Over the years, he had restrained himself a lot because ever since he fell in love with Huamin, his personality had become gentler. But that didn't mean that it was gone. After all, the lion's nature was still there. He doted on the twins so much. Now that he saw these kidnappers, his heart burned with anger. Hurry, bring the children out. Big Brother Hai saw that this person wasn't a good person, so he didn't dare to ask if he was the father of the children. He quickly asked his subordinates to bring the twins out. When Little Bean and Pudding came out, they jogged all the way out in excitement. They knew that someone must have come to pick them up. Sis, look, it's handsome Sue. From afar, Little Bean was extremely excited when she saw Suyu. She raised her chubby little hand and pointed at Suyu. I see him. Pudding was still very calm. The sisters quickly ran over and rushed into Suyu's arms. Handsome Sue, I missed you so much. Boo-hoo. I thought I would never see you again. Little Bean was more emotional, so it was inevitable that she would cry in such a situation. Pudding thought that she could hold it in, but the moment she threw herself into Suyu's arms, she couldn't hold it in and burst into tears. However, she didn't make as much of a commotion as Little Bean. She just cried silently. Suyu was affected by the two children. His eyes also turned red, but he was a man. He couldn't cry in front of so many people, right? So, Suyu lifted his head and hugged the twins tightly. It's okay. It's all in the past now. Don't be afraid. I'm sorry, Uncle Sue came late. Suyu blamed himself. Why couldn't they find the child sooner? Not at all. You came just in time. Little Bean hugged Sue Yu's neck coquettishly. Handsome Sue, did you get a call? Pudding asked. Your father called me and told me the address to pick you up. Where are my daddy and mommy? Little Bean asked as she looked around for them. They have taken care of some matters in Peach Blossom Town and are on their way here. They will probably arrive soon. Sue Yu said. Handsome Sue, did you miss me? Little Bean rubbed the tip of her nose against Sue Yu's face. Sue Yu didn't mind and smiled kindly. Yes, I miss you every day. Then did you miss me more or my sister more? Little Bean asked. Again. Sue Yu would panic every time he encountered such a problem. Chin Moo, that's enough. Is this the time to joke? Pudding rolled her eyes at her. Pudding, Little Bean, you two only have eyes for handsome Sue, don't you? Qin Ning walked out from behind the police with Tang Chuan by her side. Chapter 2772. Wow, Auntie. Little Bean was good at flattery. Seeing Qin Ning come over, she immediately left Sue Yu's arms and hugged Qin Ning's leg. Auntie, I missed you so much. Really? Qin Ning asked deliberately. Of course. Did you miss me more or your handsome Sue more? Qin Ning purposely put Little Bean in a difficult position. The same. Hee hee. Little Bean's reaction was very fast. Little brat, you're smart. Are you hurt? Qin Ning looked at the two kids with heartache. They had been kidnapped for a few days, but they were still wearing the same clothes they were wearing the day they disappeared. They were dirty and their hair was messy. They didn't look like a proud little princess at all. Are you hurt? Yes, do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Qin Ning was afraid that the two kids would be hurt, so she hurriedly checked their wounds. No, Auntie. That big bad guy accidentally pushed me and I hit my head. But it's fine now. Little Bean touched her head. Qin Ning's heart ached as she checked her wounds. Don't worry. That big bad guy has been caught. When I get back, I'll avenge you. Qin Ning received a call from Huamin saying that He Yongjun and Shen Jiani had been caught. So, Qin Ning felt that when she got back, she would definitely make those two pay. Yes, I must avenge them. I'm going to feed that big bad guy shit and drink dog urine. I'm going to put firecrackers on his ass and blow them up. Thinking of the two people who kidnapped her, Little Bean was furious. However, she was still a kid and her words were very childish. Everyone didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Pudding, where's that bitch Zhang Manlin? Where is she? I'm going to tear her apart. Sue Yu asked Pudding. Ever since he found out that the twins were kidnapped by Zhang Manlin, Sue Yu couldn't sleep at night. He wanted to tear Zhang Manlin into pieces. After hearing this, Pudding leaned over and whispered something in Sue Yu's ear. After hearing this, Sue Yu's expression changed slightly. Not far away, other than Big Brother Hai, his subordinates were all dumbfounded. Big Brother. What's going on? Didn't we ask for ransom? Why did you give her to them? Then we. The men were dumbfounded. I've changed my mind. I've chosen another path, Big Brother Hai said calmly. What path? Trickster turned to look at Big Brother Hai. In order for everyone to have a peaceful life for the rest of their lives, I made a deal with the kid. I took the initiative to call their father and asked him to come and pick up the kid. When the time comes, the kid's father will reward us. We are not wanted criminals, we are just good people who saved the kid from the kidnappers. Big Brother Hai had said a lot. In fact, it could be summed up in one sentence, which was to clear his name. What? Big brother. Are you confused? How can you believe the words of a 3-year-old child? What if we get caught? Who are we going to ask for justice? Several men looked at their elder brother in despair. They didn't understand. Why would a man in his 30s believe in a child? It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. It's too late now. We can only believe it. We have no way out now. Big brother Hai emphasized. When Suyu came, there were a lot of police officers behind him. All of them had guns. If he wanted to kill them, it would be a matter of minutes. So, now they could only wait and see if the kid who negotiated with him would fulfill her promise. At this moment, the roar of the helicopter was deafening. Everyone looked up at the sky. An army green helicopter slowly landed. Chin Chu held Huamin's hand and got off the helicopter under everyone's gaze. Chapter 2773. Oh my God, Daddy and Mommy are so handsome. Little Bean gave Huamin and Chin Chu a halo. Maybe it was because she hadn't seen them for a few days, but it felt like a century had passed. My children. Huamin's eyes became wet the moment she saw the twins. She hurried over and squatted down. Little Bean ran like crazy, but before she could reach Huamin, Pudding pulled her back. Calm down, Little Bean. Mommy can't hug you. Pudding was much more rational and knew that Mommy couldn't hug them because she was pregnant. Oh, I remember now. Mommy's pregnant. Little Bean almost spilled the beans. Ahem, right. Mommy misses us so much, so she's very emotional. We have to calm down and don't make her cry. Pudding tried to smooth things over. Yes, yes, yes. Mommy, don't cry. Sis and I are fine. We're safe, Little Bean comforted Huamin. However, Huamian was so emotional that she couldn't stop her tears from rolling down her cheeks like a broken string of pearls. She hugged her 2 daughters tightly and refused to let go. Chin Chu looked at the woman and the 2 children tenderly, and the huge rock in his heart finally fell to the ground. Daddy, I missed you so much, Little Bean said coquettishly to her mommy and then threw herself at Chin Chu. Chin Chu picked up Little Bean and Pudding, one in each hand. He was so manly. Daddy missed you too. It's okay now. He comforted the 2 children gently. From afar, everyone saw the twins leaning on their father's shoulders intimately. But in fact, they did something else secretly. After a while, the twins got off Chin Chu, and Chin Chu walked toward the bandits. A few of them were so scared that they retreated, thinking that Chin Chu was going to take revenge. Who's Jiang Dehai? Chin Chu asked. I am. The bearded man stepped forward. The person who called me was you. Chin Chu sized up the man in front of him. He was really just a vulgar man. It's me. My daughter has been with you for the past 2 days. Yes, it's always been with us. The bearded man didn't know what the man wanted to do, so he was very uncertain. After all, who would believe his agreement with Kid? If this family turned against them, they would all go to jail. Very good. We will definitely fulfill the agreement between my daughter and you. She can completely represent me. Chin Chu looked at him and said. When Big Beard heard this, he immediately let out a sigh of relief. Then, he pretended to be calm and nodded. Okay. Big brother, what's your agreement? One of the lackeys behind him asked. The bearded man was so nervous that he seemed to have forgotten what he had discussed with Little Bean. He also forgot how much money she wanted. He even forgot about buying a house and a car. Find a job for each of us, the bearded man blurted out. Yes, the deepest impression he had was that Little Bean told him that it was better to teach a man to fish than to give him a fish. So, he only remembered to find a job. The lackeys behind him almost vomited blood when they heard this. He thought to himself, is boss stupid? He let go of someone else's child, and all he wants is to find a job for him. At this moment, Chin Chu added, since you forgot, I'll say it for you. The bandits behind him immediately locked their eyes on Chin Chu, this man who looked as handsome as a god. Chapter 2774. My daughter must have promised you that you and your buddies would each get a house of more than 100 square meters and a mid-level car in Sea City. She would also find you a stable job. Yes, that's what happened. Hearing Chin Chu's words, Big Brother Hai immediately remembered. A house, a car. Fuck. A house in Sea City is very expensive. A house of 100 square meters would cost millions. Big Brother Hai's men were dumbfounded. After all, they were from the mountains and had never seen much of the world. To them, Sea City was a bustling metropolis. It was like heaven. Since my daughters didn't have any external injuries, and although they were imprisoned here for 2 days, they weren't abused, so I've decided to give each of you an extra 1 million in cash. 1 million. Cash. Big Brother Hai was also dumbfounded. He didn't expect to make a profit. But it will be difficult to find a job. After all, you guys don't have a degree or any special skills. Chin Chu pondered. That's not necessary, Mr. Chin. I think we can slowly find a job on our own. Thinking that he would soon have a house, a car, and 1 million in cash, Big Brother Hai wondered why he was in such a hurry to find a job. But my daughter is right. You don't have any skills. If you still can't find a job after squandering your savings, how about this? You can go back to my company for training, and then work in the security department as a security guard. Our group's salary is 6,000 a month. Although it's not very high, it's relatively stable and safe. You can think about it yourself. If you don't want to, I won't force you, but I will definitely fulfill all the conditions my daughter promised you. Thank you, Mr. Chin. We'll discuss this matter later. Oh, and before that. Big Brother Hai was very worried that he would be wanted by the police because of his previous crimes. I'll take care of that for you. Don't worry, but I want to emphasize that if you guys do anything illegal in the future, I won't interfere. Yes. We definitely won't. Who would want to break the law when they have money? Big Brother Hai was overjoyed. He didn't expect his verbal promise to his children to be fulfilled. Plus, he had an extra 1 million in cash. He was overjoyed. Okay, that's all. Where's that woman? Let her out. Chin Chu didn't forget about Zhang Manlin's importance. She's also a victim. She was also captured by us. Please don't hurt her. Trickster was more impatient. Because of their brief relationship as husband and wife, he was especially worried about Zhang Manlin's situation. Chin Chu glanced at her indifferently but didn't say anything. Go, bring that woman here, Big Brother Hai ordered. When Zhang Manlin was brought out, she was calm at first. When they saw Chin Chu and so many people behind Chin Chu, they completely panicked. At this moment, Pudding and Little Bean approached Zhang Manlin. Zhang Manlin's face turned pale with fright. Daddy, it's all thanks to Miss Zhang this time. She was kind enough to save us from those 2 bad guys, so you have to thank her properly, Pudding said. Yeah, Daddy, Miss Zhang is a nice person. We misunderstood her before, Little Bean agreed. Qin Chu walked over and glanced at Zhang Manlin, but didn't say anything. Zhang Manlin was extremely nervous. She didn't dare to look into Qin Chu's eyes. But after hearing what the twins said, she was confused. Why would they say that? Chapter 2775. I heard that you were the one who saved my daughters from He Yongjun and Shinjiani. Qin Chu questioned coldly. Yes, I didn't do it on purpose. I just happened to run into them, Zhang Manlin quickly explained. Oh. Then the police must have misunderstood and thought that you kidnapped my daughters, Qin Chu said deliberately. Zhang Manlin shook her head. No, I'm not. Zhang Manlin shook her head. No, it's not like that. I'm not a bad person. President Qin, we've known each other for a long time. You should know what kind of person I am. How could I do something like this to you? If my car didn't break down and I couldn't turn on my phone, I would have called you a long time ago to inform you. But, you know, my phone was bugged by his people. I didn't dare to do that because I was afraid that he would know where we were first. That would be bad for Little Bean and Pudding. Zhang Manlin wasn't that stupid. Zhang Manlin wasn't stupid at all. Seeing that there was still room for negotiation, she immediately came up with an excuse. Qin Chu knew that she was talking about Hua Xiqian, so he wasn't surprised. Oh, I see. Then I'll ask the police to remove your arrest warrant, Qin Chu said. Zhang Manlin was overjoyed. Thank you, President Qin, for clearing my name. My daughter said that she promised you something, right? Qin Chu asked again. Zhang Manlin didn't dare to answer directly. Instead, she looked at Pudding, who was standing behind Qin Chu. When they first met, Zhang Manlin and Pudding did talk about a deal, but that was in the past. Pudding saw that Zhang Manlin didn't dare to answer, so she walked over and held her daddy's hand. She said innocently, Daddy, it's true. You've taught us since we were young that we can't be ungrateful. At that time, I told Miss Zhang that we'd let bygones be bygones. As long as she could find a way to get us out, I would grant her one wish. Oh, so. Miss Zhang, what wish do you have? Qin Chu glanced at Zhang Manlin's face coldly. Zhang Manlin looked guiltily at Hua Mian, who wasn't far away. She knew that Hua Min was not someone to be trifled with. Fortunately, Hua Min was wiping Little Bean's face with a handkerchief and wasn't paying attention to their conversation. So, Zhang Manlin said in a low voice, Actually, I'm not asking for anything in return. You know, I've wanted to leave him for a long time. No one wants to be controlled for the rest of their lives. After all, I'm not a toy. So, I want to go to GK headquarters and be your assistant. That way, he won't dare to touch me easily. After all, he's still wary of the people around you. Zhang Manlin revealed her selfishness in a roundabout way and even made Hua Xiqian take the blame for her. Daddy, what do you think? It's not hard, right? Pudding looked up at her father and smiled. Since my daughter promised you, I will keep my word. After we go back, you can come to work at GK. Really? Is it okay to go back this time? Zhang Manlin was flattered. Yes. Then, Qin Chu turned around and left without another word. Pudding glanced at Zhang Manlin and said, No matter what, it was because of you that we were able to escape from those two crazy kidnappers. So, I plan to give you the money according to the previous conditions. Don't be a spy for the big bad guy anymore. Be a good person, Pudding said seriously. Pudding was serious. Zhang Manlin didn't doubt anything at all. She just thought that she was a child and got lucky this time. On the way back in the helicopter, Qin Chu received a call from Gao Ran. Chu, I just had a situation. Gao Ran's tone was serious. Chapter 2776. Upon hearing this, Qin Chu frowned slightly. What's going on? Qin Chu wondered if Yongjun and the others had run away. If so, then Gao Ran's position as the bureau chief would be wasted. He spent so much effort to catch them. If they ran away, then wouldn't everyone be busy? Yongjun, just now. Gao Ran deliberately stuttered. Upon hearing this, Qin Chu was very unhappy. How is he? Qin Chu continued to ask in a low voice, trying to be patient. He's dead. Ha ha ha. Are you surprised? After speaking, Gao Ran's tone changed and he began to laugh loudly. Qin Chu was speechless. Huh? Did you hear me, Chu? Gao Ran saw that Qin Chu didn't respond, so he quickly asked. Fuck off. Qin Chu was about to die from anger at Gao Ran. How old was he? As the bureau chief of the city bureau, how could he be so childish? However, as soon as Qin Chu hung up, he shamelessly called again. You want to die, don't you? Qin Chu yelled at him. Ha, I'll stop messing around. I'm just reporting that while we were escorting Yongjun, he lost too much blood and is now brain dead. Got it. Qin Chu's reaction was very indifferent. Because this was within his expectations. Even if Yongjun was lucky and didn't die, he would definitely find a way to kill him. The person who hurt his daughter must not be allowed to live. This was the most important thing a father should do to protect his daughter. By the way, your last stab was really vicious, it directly pierced through his aorta. He must have a strong will to be able to hold on until now. Damn, he even yelled at me in the car and asked me to send him to the hospital. If it weren't for the legal process, I would have sent him to the crematorium. I was just defending myself, Qin Chu said proudly. Yes. You're so black-bellied. I was just thinking, how could a person like you be willing to fight one-on-one with someone like Yongjun? Ha! Now I realize that your scheme is really deep. What a big game of chess. So you deliberately baited him. Then you knew that he couldn't beat you and would definitely use some tricks. So when he took out his knife to stab you, you didn't hesitate to attack. Smart, really smart. Cut the crap. Is there anything else? Qin Chu suddenly felt that Gao Ran had become a little slow. It wasn't easy for him to think of a happy time with his wife and children, but this guy kept nagging. Yes. I haven't asked you yet. What's the situation over there? Gao Ran asked. It's all over. Are the children all right? Gao Ran asked with concern. Yes. Where is my daughter-in-law? How are you feeling? Gao Ran asked jokingly. Mr. Qin even glanced at Little Bean, who was beside him, as he held the phone. She's in a good mood. She's eating strawberry cake, Qin Chu said. Ha ha ha. No wonder she's my daughter-in-law. She's so generous. She's still in the mood to eat. Gao Ran laughed. Okay. I'm hanging up. Qin Chu felt that Gao Ran's last words were all nonsense. The only important news was that Yongjun was dead. This was very good news. Honey, what's up? Huamin heard the conversation between Qin Chu and Gao Ran and understood something. Yongjun is dead. Dead? When? Huamian's face was also calm. Just a few minutes ago. Based on the time, his aorta was bleeding too much. He should have died a long time ago. He's quite strong. What about Xinjiani? What are you going to do with her? Huamin asked. Chapter 2777. Leave it to me. Don't worry. Qin Chu placed his hand on Huamin's. Huamin nodded. She hugged her two daughters the whole way back, unwilling to let go. No one knew how precious it was to get back what you lost, Mian, about Zhang. Qin Chu was about to explain. I know. Huamin smiled slightly. Daddy, do you still need to explain? It's not like you don't know how high Mommy's IQ is. Little Bean looked at her daddy with disdain. Okay, I was overthinking it. Mr. Qin smiled, a smile that hadn't appeared on his face in a long time. He only gave this gentleness to his wife and daughter. The night the twins came back, South Hill Manor was very lively. Gao Ran brought his wife and son, Wei Liao brought his wife and son, Tang Chuan, Qin Ning, Huamin's mother, Jixin's little brother, Jixin's rumored girlfriend, Bella, Su Yu's parents, Su Yu's grandfather, Ni Yang, and Ni Yang's wife, Qin Jia. With so many people, the entire South Hill Manor was in an uproar. Qin Chu secretly turned on the shielding mode, causing all of Hua Xiqian's listening devices to malfunction. Kaiyue, the spy, was also sent away. Everyone relaxed. The twins' disappearance almost caused old Master Qin's old illness to act up and send him to the hospital. If something really happened to his granddaughters, he really wouldn't be able to live. It was no longer cold in the north in May. The temperature had warmed up, and peach blossoms were everywhere. On the lawn in front of South Hill Manor, everyone had a great time eating a combination of barbecue and Western food. The Qin family's personal chef and Su Yu's personal chef worked together to make a scrumptious dinner for everyone. The twins were like happy children, running around in their princess dresses. Huamian's heart was filled with emotions as she watched the happy scene. When she got up to get everyone drinks, she stood by the pool and zoned out. Are you thinking about Yen? Qin Chu hugged her slender waist from behind. He rested his chin on her thin shoulders. You are indeed my man. You know me well. Huamin did not turn around. She just gently pressed her face against Qin Chu's face. The couple enjoyed this peaceful moment. It'll be over soon. I'm sure you'll be reunited with the professor and Lu Yen, Qin Chu comforted her. Yeah, I also hope that everything will be over soon. If this continues for the rest of the afternoon, I might really die, Huamin joked. Don't talk nonsense. My Mian must live a long life. Then you'll have to live a long life. Otherwise, I'll be alone in this world. Of course. If you live to 100, I'll live to 101. You leave before me. After I take care of everything, I'll go find you, Qin Chu teased her. We don't have enough beer. Lord Su, go over there and get some. I don't believe I can't beat Old Wei today, haha. Tang Chuan was very drunk. Su Yu got up and walked over to the pool. Just as he was about to step out, he saw Qin Chu and Huamian being lovey-dovey. He stopped in his tracks, a little disappointed. Did you hurt your heart? A crisp voice came from behind him. Su Yu turned around and saw Pudding standing behind him with a jolets in her hand. She looked calm. Ahem. What are you talking about? Hurt my heart. I'm just here to get the beer, why don't you go get it? Pudding asked. Your daddy and mommy are being intimate, how could I interrupt them? Su Yu found it hard to say. What are you afraid of? I'll take you there. Then, Pudding pulled on Suyu's sleeve and led him inside. Hey! Pudding, don't go. Come back. Suyu was scared and kept saying no. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.